Ornn and then try and buster shot him out of his ult if he's trying to reactivate it, so you can kind of get him out of the path of that raging bolt. Feather. Lulu will recover. And now we have a remake again. Oh, come on. Right, we're going to have a little while here. How do you want to waste time, Sam?
Right, shall we play Hangman?
We can do that. There's also another thing I could do as into the thick of things.
Solid response from TT, considering NIP were coming in with some volume there.
The thing about this stadium, it's in Shenzhen. The acoustics of it are beautiful. They're really, really cool.
Proper reverb.
Yeah. So I've been really enjoying kind of listening to the crowd, particularly in this arena. It doesn't matter who's been there, even if there's just a couple of shouts in there, they really carry, and that's really cool. Ooh, nice trade level 1. That's not going to be something that Satep can recall from. And because Doomby has the door and shield, he doesn't actually mind taking a little bit of a worse trade here, because he'll regen up a little bit more than Satep. Just getting any trade onto the Tilia is something that often Silas has to work quite hard for.
It's good working, but again, after, or rather before the Unraveled Earth comes on through, after that it gets a lot harder again to pick your moments. Doomby Silas, always a bit of a specialty pick.
He's been doing really well on it recently too. I think the NIP, of course, they've just walked off of a win against... No, they lost against Weibo.
That was a weird game. That's why
I was like, did they win? No, it's the children who are wrong. It was, yeah, it was sure something. And Sam, we have a return of our upstanding friend in the bot lane, PP God.
Ah, yeah. Yes. What's he a god of again, Alex?
He's the god of PP, Sam.
Ah.
Don't really know what anyone would think elsewise about that, you know?
Yeah, he's like Aphrodite's son. That's Eros right there. Or Priapus, perhaps more appropriate.
Oh, the fun we have.
Montes, you of all people count bonkers. I have seen what you have written in chat.
Yeah. You know, PP God bringing the heal, so making sure they're bringing protection.
You can change shape as well, you know, he's been a bit of a cosplayer, you know? Some people are into that.
Yeah, you know, transform into the Ornn, get a little bit larger.
Blows the horn, you know what I mean.
Oh, what fun we have. I mean, it is the Nico in this game obviously does give you, back to serious stuff. The Nico in this game is very important because it allows NIP that kind of extra bursty engage. It did give you a not bad amount of extra damage as well team-wide.
Yeah, genuinely yes. Keep our eyes on that one. And then one of the things that does allow for a bit of scaling on the side of NIP is having some of those ornaments come on through as the game goes on. But actually mid lane, Doomby's find a decent engagement. Leveled out a little late, and that means a good Q onto setup and flashing over the Shin. So that means they can get one onto that. Beichuan can't confirm the kill onto Doomby. The last time we saw Beichuan on this Shinzao, he was trying real hard, folks. Can't unfortunately save his mid laner this time around.
You know what? That kind of kill might have actually been opened up because Doomby was trading so hard in the early levels. Beichuan now sticking around just to make sure there wasn't a regank onto setup. That's why he's sticking around, because if suddenly Aki comes out of that top rush with a Q charge, he would die. So he's just looking to protect him that. And we'll go down towards the spot scuttle. So we'll go towards this replay. What happens here? So it puts a ward over. And then you know where the ward is. You can skirt it. That brushed in the right position to stay out of vision of it. That's just very unlucky timing. That's very unlucky timing. He thinks he's safe in that side of the lane. Doesn't realize that is not the case. He uses it already. And by the time he flashes, kind of too late. Against Vi, you don't always want the flash because there's the chance of the flash follow and you get predicted. But first blood goes over and Doomby and Aki feeling happy.
Well, we have it. Good start off. That Silas and Vi off to the races, and some good ults here for Doomby to steal if you can get some value out of that. You can things like the Lulu ult could be really annoying on Silas, so see how this all goes.
Yeah, that's true actually. Yeah, you know, that's true. It's probably better. It's probably worse than any of your melee CC supports, I will say. Still worse than that. I do think that TT have managed to give Silas, at least in pro, one of the worst rolls you can get from ultimates, really. The Sion ult is okay. It's not fantastic. because you know, you're not allowed to like cast it immediately, go into auto attacks and stuff like that. Can still be useful as a semi-global and an engage tool. The Shinzo ultimate is the only one that I would consider to be near top tier. Near top tier.
These other ones which are fine, but they are situationally good rather than always just fantastic.
Yeah, and until you get towards like super late game where you cast multiple in the same fight, you don't really want to be thinking about them too much.
The only other one I can see is being stolen on a regular basis is something like that Weaver's Wall, just to follow and use that as a travel tool. And similarly, obviously, the Scion up, you can use both as kind of semi-globals.
Yeah, for sure. Like, the Silas isn't without tools. It's a little bit different from like, oh, I've got Zoe ult.
Yeah.
Right. What do I do with that? What do I do with that one? You know what they should do? You know what we should do? I should pitch this to LEC. Do like MacGyver League of Legends, where we need to do League of Legends escape rooms.
How do we get genuinely less? How do we get out of this scenario?
Oh, that's fantastic. We need to do League of Legends escape rooms with like really tricky interactions and stuff. Where even if you die, that's fantastic. We can definitely do something with that. Alright, anyway, Grub started up, H1 takes down one of them. Do they stick around for another? One extend at level 5, a little bit low HP. It needs to be careful here, actually.
Nice jump away, 1xn. Gun danger, beginning to flash out, but Doinby stolen that crescent guard and can keep going on forwards. Finally starting to do some damage. Feather shields themselves with the Whimsy, but just can't run far enough away. And Doinby gets to keep on going, and that snowman is dangerous enough.
Oh, the flash!
For the reactivation into the charge into the wall. And Hoya might be a Scion. I don't think he'll be doing much more than dying on the Rift.
Hoya is the one that flashes, and he flashes into the Ornal anyway. Shanji makes it look like, it looked like Shanji. Wow, he's going to flash to confirm it. No, Hoya just flashed into it. And TT, a team which has struggled to find identity in this split, especially compared to their glowing results from Split 1, lose a lot of kills. We might still get the 2-for-1 Grub trade in favor of TT, but 4 kills over to NIP, that is too much gold. You are going to get to the point now where you're going to have 1-2 item spikes hit by NIP, and you're going to get crushed if you fall behind by this amount of gold. 1xn makes a pretty big mistake here going towards the honey fruit. I think as soon as you have to jump, you must be full retreat. And the fact that he doesn't flash out of the engage here too is a big problem. 1xn, I think, making a big mistake here.
Does a fair amount of way. Then Doinby with the flash on forward, the stolen crescent guard means that there's no way that Lulu and the Tristana are going to be able to hurt that Silas any good time. 1xn at least manages to jump out, but it leaves Feather out to dry. All the wild setup already dead. And Hoya with that failed flash. I thought Shanji had flashed to reactivate for the angle. Nope, it was just Hoya failing to flash on out and dying horribly.
Yep. Well, it's always quite the concerning thing when you're flashed by PP. God.
So it begins.
I should have thought that one earlier. Oh, well, Setup's going to get engaged onto. This is by Silas.
Alex, and desist. Like we tried to see from Aki there. It's been a really scary spot, actually. He has to flash on out. Another turret shot would have been death. Fortunately for him, he avoids such a heinous crime, or punishment for said crime, and gets away with it.
So, Setup trading flash with Aki there, which is quite important. I think if you manage to stop Vi having those flash engages, makes it a lot easier for TT's carries to survive. TT, they have not made their lives easy, I don't think, in recent weeks. And yeah, I look at this composition now with losing gold to the Ezreal, losing gold to the Silas. I do get worried. I think Silas is the kind of champion where we talked a lot about the ultimates he could steal earlier. This is something which Carrix, who cast an awful lot of VCS, the Vietnamese region, for the last many years, actually, since like 2020 or so, is very passionate about talking about as a Silas main, as a caster as well, or like someone who plays a lot of Silas. Silas's ultimate steals are not actually the most important part of his kit. The most broken part of Silas's kit is his W. And in games like this, when you have someone that you can just kind of run at a Talia who doesn't have the damage to stop you from doing much once the E's down, a Scion who just never has enough damage to stop you from doing stuff once he hits 2 items, Silas has targets you can just run at in this kind of game, and as long as you have an okay ultimate, you are very happy if you have the gold to just brawl through and use multiple Ws.
Yeah, it's a tough time. And again, much like Hit Bring Me a Song, you get features on it, right? You go on in, you find a baby metal on your Kingslayer too, and you do so much damn work. With a little bit of assistance from your team as well, just such a good setup to go keep brawling. and finding value in these fights. And I think especially when your Xin Zhao is kind of the only person who hasn't died on your team alongside 1xN, it can be a tough time for the enemy team to survive the Silas all in, especially as that Dark Seal's already giving a bit more AP than he might otherwise have. He's got the Catalyst and inventory, the roar will come on through, and then Silas has more to brawl with.
So, Derby, there was a question in chat earlier which I did answer, but it's worth bringing it up in cast for those of you that were not around for that part of the stream, which was, how do we rate Derby in his return towards play after a break? Well, he might have a chance of another kill here, as Aki's going to fly over the wall. Seth doesn't have that flash. Aki doesn't either. Don't think he needs it, though. Oh, Derby has no cooldowns left. Can he get the final kill? Tanking the turret. Setab dodges out on the Q, but the kill goes over anyway.
Aki might be in danger as Sion comes ulting on forwards. Shield into knockup. He still look to try and Q away. Won't get a chance as the Soul Furnace pop is there. Doinby meets Beach One on the way out and will need to ult and leave himself. So stolen Crescent Guard gets him on safety. Hoya though is going to take a while to take a plate or two in mids.
While this is happening, Shanji taking a play up in top as well. So I suppose both tanks getting value out of this. Doinby maybe going a little too early on his own play there. Should have comboed up his E for Aki. Didn't have that then for when the ult came through from that fight. Dragon goes over to the side of TT. Closing the gold down a little bit. Getting themselves this dragon. Those are good signs for TT.
Necessary ones. We'll look at the replay. So Aki going to come over the Raptor pit wall. Setup's already been engaged onto. There's a cease and desist. He had no flash, but then they just kind of run out of damage. And Setup takes a while to fall, all the while Hoya says, well, I'm having this. I got a wave shove. Let me charge on in, and gets a pretty good chunk here onto Aki. And even with the blast shield, cannot stay alive. Engage now onto Leave as we come back to live. Setup in some interesting positions. That means Leave will be doing just that. And makes like a tree and splits.
Exit stage right, pursued by a bear. By the way, there's actual stage directions from Shakespeare.
Wonderful.
Can't remember which one it's in, but it's in one of them. This is big now, because now TT gets to transfer.
Stream, I think.
Okay, cool, good to know. Well, I think it's a days dream for TT, getting themselves a kill and the grubs. Wow, what a great prize for them.
Thank God, power of friendship is confirmed. I was right. Over we go. Is PP got to be shunted away by a decent Crescent Guard, but now Beichuan in danger as the reactivation is going to come on through and knock up the Xin Zhao. Flash for the searing charge, and Shanji gets that one with clean affair.
Beichuan slaps PP God away, but just... No, okay, actually, no, I couldn't think of any way to finish up that play as Beichuan couldn't finish off the play either. They do get the grubs, though, and they're happy with that.
PP God gets blocked. You know.
This is actually even more funny given the fact that, you know, PP God, well, no, Nico, not really about that. But kind of the opposite.
Very true.
But you know, who are we to judge whatever Nico and Nidalee get up to, I guess.
That is an interesting question for all the ages, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, I don't want to answer that question on air. That one's a mistake. We move on from that. Leave is not having a great time into the Scion. Does in fact do no damage.
And I did say earlier, hey, Silas good into the Scion because he can just kind of keep spamming W's onto him. This isn't a Liandry's meta for the Silas. It does go for the Riftmaker and stuff. And Scion does get ungodly tanky ungodly quickly. I am getting quite worried because Hoya's picked up quite a lot, and also, I mean, hang on, he might be in a bit of trouble right now. He can flash ult out. He will be fine. It's just how much he wants to put into this. Flashes and ults, gets out safely. Very hard to stop a Scion when he has both of them up.
And Scion escapes with those tools blown. So he's just about fine here in the grand scheme of things. And now got ourselves about a minute and a half until something like Herald will spawn. And Dragon about 2 minutes off, so we've got a couple minutes where people want to blow cooldowns before fights. They can do, otherwise it might be just a chill period of the game where we can once again muse on the name PP God and all its potential additional meanings.
I think we know what the extra meaning is, Sam.
Yeah, it's not actually all that subtle.
It's actually not subtle.
It's very blatant.
It's actually very blatant.
Pop Blossom, and there we go. That's a statement I've said once or twice. As PP God now in danger, backs on out, will not survive though. Is immediately left in the ground. Knock up from Leave, courtesy of the stolen Lulu. Trying to figure out how that one worked out. And now Doinby has to flash on out, and TT find a really nice set of picks.
Yeah, TT cut off PP God from the rest of the team. I bet that was very painful for the Ninjas in Pyjamas. They lose one after, they'll also lose their mid lane turret. Thunder Talk, they're doing pretty well here at picking off NIP now.
That was nicely played. All the while, Doomby's going to try and trade out. Whips and chains may excite the side of NIP when they try to find these plays, but I'm going to have PP God come back on in and ensure that Doomby is raring to go. Well, nice turnaround though, prevents the full kill, and they will manage to get out some serious value there.
Insanely good buster shot. Shanji now's coming into the play. They catch shot 1xN. I don't even think he was aiming for him.
Oh, that's so unlucky. Going to try and get one back on the other side. They will also pick up setup. Now Baytran in danger. We'll try to audacious charge in. And what looks so good for TT. A couple clutch snipes and suddenly Thunder Talk aren't done.
NIP come back for round 2 and reinvigorated as TT do take themselves an initially very good fight. The gold has started to close. It's still going to be 2 towers taken by TT. I don't know how that's going to be traded after coming into this replay. This is after the initial big play came through. This is a very good buster shot. That is a top draw buster shot. Doesn't have much timing after his CC is elapsed to go onto that. And what happens here? Clears out the ward. What the hell happens with this Ornol? So Shanji walks up. It's out of range for the first bit. Look, 1xN could have left this play. He should have just walked up towards the red buff. Channels his W far too late, and I just don't think he realized it was going towards him. 1xN, his play recently has been a lot more shaky than it has been in Split 1 and before that. He's a player which we have a lot of respect for, but he's losing a lot of random plays which you wouldn't have done it on peak form.
No.
Maybe if I'm good.
But that one, of course, that one feels a little bit sad, of course. I don't think it's not like, well, there are outplays, and then there are what the hell was just that. As value comes on through, Doomby's got the Herald, and we start to trade onto Hoya. Make sure we can't really leave, with the Herald charge coming on through, that will now secure that one, as a stolen Psyonot means he will scream cowards, but in a slightly different accent. And Hoya try and clear out this wave with the decimating smash, and for all that he's tanky, will still fall here. The zombie form after should be enough to clear out this wave, I should imagine.
In German, it's Feigling! Cowards, as he, you know,
screams really loud.
Screams really loud. Yeah, because we're learning German. It's you know, nice to know that. Tower goes down for setup in the bot side. And Dragon to you. So, I mean, that's decent damage though from Leaf. 1xN, buddy, you can't be positioned like that.
Flash away and will not matter. It does get a buster shot out in 2. The Wild Grove as well. But he just can't get far enough away. And IP throw everything in the kitchen sink, and eventually the Tristana will fall.
One of 1xN off Feather had to go flash towards the Ornn to stop that engage coming through. Bad positioning by 1xN, bad response as well. An AD carry, which I have a lot of, I see a lot of potential in. Having a bad game here.
It's not been the easiest split for him, has to be said. Moments like that make an eyebrow raise. Again, I have a little bit more sympathy for the first death. That was some silly sniping off blind vision. However, that one, you've got to be able to manage that better. The problem solving wasn't there that time around, and the positioning, plathing, a little bit problematic there.
And both Leave and 1xN did have that cull. One of the reasons this play goes badly is because Leave had a cull, sold it, and got the 2-item spike, and is very, very powerful right now. The jump away from the Vi is okay, but I think that you have to flash towards Shanji and buster shot him, because you cannot afford for that second ultimate to come through. Maybe you're a little bit afraid of the Nico ulting onto you too, but if you're going to use the flash anyway, I feel like that's the better way to use it. Now we have a catch maybe on the top side. No one else really around there besides Shanji getting a good knock up onto the Cilia.
Be something to keep our eyes on as NIP just getting a little bit further ahead. They are about 1,500 gold, so it's not out of reach or anything. And in fairness to TT, they found a few good plays themselves, getting that tier 2 mid lane. Some of those picks back has been pretty solid. The problem is, of course, you need some gold at some point on the Talia and the Tristana, neither of which have managed to pick up a kill this game. 0 and 4 and 0 and 2 is not what you want out of mid and AD carry in this game.
Let's take a step back. I didn't mean like that.
Why would you say that, Alex?
That is a split second. Cast a curse. Wow. Never achieved that one before. Right. So, PP got disconnected. Again, very painful experience.
Yeah, don't you want that disconnected? I want it connected, thank you.
It's detachable. You know what, Sam? I'm actually going to be cheeky. While we're at a pause, I'm going to go to the toilet and...
Go do that.
And then I'll be back.
Drain the PP.
Why would you say that? I'm exiting stage left pursued by a bear.
Midsummer Night's Dream indeed comes back again, and thank you for the confirmation again on that, as we'll get ourselves ready for this one. Hello Burfon, nice to see you over on YouTube. Hey Lorindy, good to see you. With some very acerbic commentary on PP Gods. When are we going to Nando's-san? I want to be cheeky. I mean, it's a great place to go be cheeky. It's true. It's the cheekiest place in the UK. Fun fact from Harold Hamhand redeemed. Okay, I've got a fun fact for you. Reverb, when it's used in music, if you were going to do it in a non-digital way, so not using a plugin, and you're actually trying to figure out how people used to add reverb to tracks and to... Oh, hang on, we're back onto the riff, so I'll take this opportunity. We've got a chance. Okay, so, reverb. The way they used to get reverb pre-digital stuff, analog reverb was done by basically having a giant metal plate in a room. And you would, it was called, that's the reason it's called plate reverb. And the idea is you had like a, I don't know, 10-meter long room, something like that. So this massive sheet of metal. And you'd play the track down the metal. And that would add an echo to the track that you would then use to give your tracks reverb. And depending on the amount of current and stuff you're putting across it and all these kinds of things, you'd end up with more or less reverb. So it's all the reason it's called plate reverb is you literally used to have a giant metal plate, which is how you used to get reverb. So there you go. Mecca. I see the statements you're making there. Good job, Sam. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the plate used to vibrate. That was how you used to get the echo on tracks. Towards Atakan, though, are we looking for NIP? TT going to try and come up and contest. Stolen Crescent Guard again. Nice shove back onto Shanji. Hoya's now in danger. Good Crescent Guard from base one. Denies an engagement. Well, Donby can still keep going on forward. Still has that Crescent Guard to work with. Sion. He's not looking very happy. PP gone with a flash on forwards. Finds another set of roots as he pops all over him. And the Blossom will be NIP's victory flowers as they look to claim out a bit more of this. Nice shove from setup, though. Makes that a bit more interesting. Base one with the Sundered Sky healing. Not enough. But a triple kill for Leave, and the back end of it all is good news. Let's have a look at that replay again. So, obviously, NIP just been threatening Atakan. Donby goes on forward, immediately Crescent Guarded out after the abduct. But then, obviously, Beitron kind of left out to dry alongside Hoya, and Hoya just isn't as tanky anymore. Good engage from PP God. The Buster shot out is fine. It's just not enough to keep people alive, and TT really struggling to keep their distance from the engages on NIP between the Sion, between the Vi, between the Nico and the Ornn. It's very difficult to disengage all of that, especially in the position they're in. At least now one extends at 2 items. Some value here. We've got the Leandri's done now for Setab as well, so some damage in. This gold lead is beginning to balloon a bit more now, about 2,500. Dragons in about 2 seconds. Be soul point for NIP. Stolen Wild Growth for Donby. Keep your eyes on that one. No vision at all for TT, and they're going, okay, I just don't think we can contest this. So they might just give up soul point here, which would really suck. Down a half HP, they're finally going to look for this engage, but it might be just too little. It might well be too late. Beitron's on the wrong side of the rift to even consider getting over to that dragon. There's the soul point secured, and TT look to fight regardless. Decent knock up there is pretty good, but they won't be able to get that much value in the back end of it all as the stolen wild card keeps Donby nice and healthy. Hoya goes looking on forwards. Donby will slide across the unraveled. I think that's 7 danger. PP God will go up into the air again and claim the kill onto base one for Aki. Can't quite secure Shanji. Can 1xM with the boss shot need another couple autos? There's still not quite enough damage. Now they're caught on the wrong side of the rift, trying to trade this one up. But where do you go? There's still a cease and desist available. They'll lose multiple, and the Sweat will manage to run away with the Weaver's Wall, but that is your only silver lining here.
NIP just running away with a fight, and despite the fact that 1xN had such high auto-attack uptime, it's into armor stacking from Shanji already. So it didn't even do that much damage. You could see how much uptime 1xN had, just couldn't get damage down because the Ornn doesn't take damage until you get that last whisper item later into your build, and NIP choose to lock in a more conventional answer towards the Sion and say, you're going to play a tank, I'll play a tank, and they get away with a lot more value than the Swain pseudo counterpick they had into Invictus Gaming just the other day. And NIP look like they'll kind of slide into a very smooth win here. Hoya collecting up this topside wave as, you know, NIP just took themselves the Ruinous Atacon, get themselves the flowers off of that. Reminder, folks, there's changes to Atacon coming in a number of weeks. Don't know exactly how long that'll be, but they're going to change. There will only be one form of Atacon after the changes, and what it does is it collects all of the flowers on the rift when you kill it, summons a grove like the Ruinous does currently, and then also for all of the petals you already have, increases their value by 25%. So I think petals are becoming kind of, you know, the flavor of the month really for the Spirit Blossom season. And then what it also does is after that point, the team which has killed the Atacon gets, if they kill an enemy champion, they do... Okay, we've got a fight happening in the mid lane, potentially.
Gonna go look for an ult from Shanji. That's a big old chunk onto Setab. It's big enough to send him into a grave. Now Hoya in danger. Flashing away. They're going to steal the Sion ult. Unstoppable Onslaught. As hijacked by Sion. Hijacking a train. I knew he was a rebel, but that's a bit far, mate. Goes into the backline and puts 1xN and Feather in the dirt alongside their mid laner. Hoya running around as a zombie, will also be joining them shortly after, and Beitwan alone is the one remaining member. He's in his own jungle, it means he's not here to defend anything. They can get at least another Nexus turret here. They might be able to end the damn game.
Shanji can just tank everything up. This Shinzo cannot do enough. Goes down, and NIP very quickly put this game to rest.
That was a clinical end to the game. The fights felt anemic. Oh, the way to put it for TT, and NIP looked considered, looked confident.
I have no idea what you mean by that. PP goes towards the Braum. So the Braum, the Alistar can struggle into the Braum. You go in for a combo, and Braum gets the pass onto you. Kind of sucks. NIP lacking engage though. They actually have. Hang on a second. NIP have 0 engage. That could be a bit of an issue for them. Oh, his hairstyle. Right. Okay. Feels like Dermby has such a long neck. I was actually thinking the same. He has a very swan-like neck. That's good. Walking in. Maybe not knowing they're in a 2v3. Hoya pops out of the brush now. Doesn't lead to anything. Of course, did have the double melee synergy for the Sejuani if she wanted to start with the E. Anything interesting in the runes? Grasp Victor. Makes it really annoying to play laning phase against them. Glacial Alistar. That can be really annoying when you're trying to close down the TT players when you've got the extra ice field on the floor. Oh yeah, for sure. For those of you who have not experienced the acoustics of NIP's arena, well, those drones will definitely help. Don't be using that grass proc onto the Yone. Want to get as many of them as possible, of course. We'll likely be going towards the row build. I don't think the row build's bad here. Oh, well, okay. No, I think I don't think it's bad here because you have so much extra damage and you just need to stay alive, really. So I don't mind it in this game. You have lots of damage from Shanji and Aki, which sometimes you don't always have. If you had like a Sion and you had a Sejuani yourself or whatever, think you'd feel less good about that. Aki's traipsing across the river, spotted walking across it. And well, yeah. Have some fratricide there, I guess. Whatever it is. Where you kill your family, as the dog kills the dogs. I think Blackfire to Iceborne would be fire for Victor this game. It is full AD. You know what? That's actually a really good point. Iceborne Victor would be kind of sick here. I completely agree. And then Blackfire is obviously a very good item on the Victor as well, though a lot of people are not using it very well. Setup's struggling in the laning phase. The Victor really starting to bully out. Leave in PP God, get control over the bot side, and then just make sure that Beitron is not on their camps. Because if they're losing camps on top side, that's wrong. Beitron spots out Leave now. I wonder whether Leave just walks over, gets the double up. I mean, just wants to get some damage down. Gets rid of the passive, obviously. Doomby now walking over with the mid lane prio. And while NIB don't have engaged, they do have winning lanes. And what that means is that Aki gets some time bought. He takes Wolves and Grom. Well, hang on a second. Aki's walking into the enemy jungle, level 3 to level 3. But Beitron, hang on, he's spotted on that plan too. Aki's has full control over this early jungle now. Beitron, he just doesn't have the winning lanes. And while, yes, now the Varus and the Alistair can walk into, can push up in their bot side, it's kind of too late. It's kind of too late. Is Scorch Room really important if you need the early power instead of a Gathering Storm room? I think, well, look how important the early lane pressure has been in this game, right? The early lane pressure has been so important for NIP. See that Doonby, Leave, PP God doing a really good job to allow NIP the ability to control the early lanes. Deny Beitron options. Beitron now going to go towards the Raptors respawn. Baki is very far ahead. Beitron gets one camp back, but had 2 camps stolen. So this is only just the one back. And just slowed down in the clear. Now, Aki's going to be so far ahead in terms of XP. Doomby now gets to freeze the wave in mid lane too, because the extra 3 minions that survive. Doomby is doing very well in this early laning phase. Doing very well in this early laning phase. Aki hops over the wall. Shanji's completely fine on top side, by the way. 10 CS up whilst being on the bot on the weak side of the map. And it's nice as heck. Managed to freeze out on that top side, I suppose. We didn't get to see the top side wave manipulation, which could have been very important to figure out how that works. Aki gets a Raptor steal away. Aki just doing a really good job just getting up in the face of Beitron's jungle and making a mess of things. Holy crap, a T1 about to lose to BFX, by the way. Another goop hits for you. What's the thing? It's the Morning Mist. That's what it's called, the Morning Mist. We got Last Rites, Dark Possession. Hang on, Seth does have level 6. I wonder. Hang on a sec. Yeah, Doomby needs to put the wave down here just to make sure the wave doesn't get frozen on him. How the heck did Doomby go for 10 CS down against Setup? How's that happen, actually? He was doing so well getting the push. Did he have to lose a wave for that? Setup doing a good job here, though. Level 6 now hit for Shanji, gets the Maiden of the Mists. Because I thought that Doomby was doing very good at... Hang on a second. Aki gets the first Grub. He needs to be... Hang on. Use the W to stop there being like a flash headbutt from Feather. Jumps over the wall. 2 for 1 in terms of the Grubs. Shepherd of Souls is the passive. Yeah, Last Rites, Morning Mist. Dark Procession's the E. I thought it was the W, weirdly. Wait, no, I thought Dark Procession was the W and the E was the Morning Mist. So that's your goop shot. Then the Maiden of the Mist, yeah. Has anything important really happened? I mean, Beitron's caught back up and farm towards Aki. That's really important, actually. With that being said, while all that's happening, Aki has a full set of camps to go through, so that will quickly flip over. So Aki will be able to get a little bit ahead again. Felt like NIP were playing so heavily towards jungle advantage. If they don't get away with that in the early game, that is problematic. Because again, they don't have an easy to play composition. You know, Braum can't stop the Yone ult and the Ambassador ult. Both of them can go on to someone like DMB or leave. Not the best Braum game in terms of team fights. Aki got no grubs. Oh, he missed the smite. Oh, my bad, my bad. He actually lost all of the grubs. Damn, that's insane, actually. I misread that. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Sometimes I miss these things. But, like, Aki is so far behind. How did Aki fall so far behind? Beitron's down XP. Lost the grubs. Yeah, the XP will be lost from that. But I feel like Aki has fumbled this early lead, right? It's a big mistake. Shanji has, you know, a tiny gold lead in topside, but it's not that great. Oh god, Gumayushi's almost 2k behind on Diablo. Oh, what has T1 done to themselves? Dragon's gonna go down. Dragon's gonna go down. Beitron will take that one easily. And TT, despite being given a lot of questions on that first clear from Aki and from the pushing lanes, feel like they're in a much better spot now. They have a much easier to play composition. They have the double melee with the Sejuani melee synergy. They have ways to get through the Braum shield with Ambassador ult and Yone ult, which, of course, can't be stopped by Braum shield. Shandy down in XP now as well? What has happened to NIP? Something must have happened in all the rotations, but TT picking up better farm. Level 6 is here from leave. Further forced to headbutt away. Beitron now over the wall. Oh, he'll use, and that's going to be maybe a kill onto PP. Got dodged down on some of the damage, but the ignite will tick down. Beitron falling forward for a bit of extra CC, and Feather minion taxis onto leave. First 2 kills of the game over towards TT. Big win there for Thunder Talk. Hoya hits the ultimate. Does get an extra dash because of that too. Has the flash still. Morning Mist hits. Hoya has enough damage to mobility to get away. Aki. I was wondering whether he would go towards any further plays there. There's a flash on Hoya, of course, but the Hound's Pursuit. Nasty long-range initiation. So what happened here? They're looking for the level 6, but you don't have level 6 on PP God. All hits. Fully charged Q arrow. Shield times out, so the damage goes onto leave as well. Second arrow comes through because it hit onto a target with the stacks on it. And then the minion taxi comes through from further. Oh my god, what the hell's happening in LCK, man? Oh, what's happening there? Grub's this time taken by NIP. Aki didn't get the smite for the first one, so could be a bit awkward here. Smite's now on the first one of this set. But he has no smite now. Beitron will at least get 1. Maybe even gets 2. Feather takes flashing over the wall. That might be a problem. He finds the ult backwards, so he can't give up the goose. There's a W available, but I don't think it's maybe going to be enough. The flash is used. Alright, flash is enough. Aki loses most of his HP. Beitron didn't have his ultimate, so it's Varus ult for Nefari's flash and forcing them off the board. Not a great showing from NIP, honestly. Dragon in 2 minutes. Herald not up for a while. So what's NIP even playing for now? TT, they're ahead in gold. They got the first dragon. 5 grubs. Beitron's done very well to recover the early pusher perk down onto him. Beitron, make no mistake, has been a player for TT right now. for this game so far. And NIP don't have engage. They don't have a top lane lead right now. Shanji needs to get something done. Oh, that's a problem. Dark Possession actually does hit. Oh, Hoy's in a bit of trouble. He has to flash. Uses the Eclipse Shield. Q-Flash should be enough. Has to flash away from the Morning Mist instead. Some cookies, I believe, keeping Hoy a little bit more healthy. Shanji flexing the muscles a little bit. Patron and Feather heading up towards top side. He blue trinkets, but doesn't go into the right way. And the damage comes back. Shanji misreads the map. Beitran Sejuani strikes again. Derby completed that Rod of Ages. T1 just lost? Are you kidding me? Whoa, that is... I mean, this is just so much drama now for T1. Because I think what's happened is T1 have been subbing in their AD carries in and out so much that neither of them are getting good practice. And the team atmosphere can't be great right now. Feather goes forwards, gets the double knockup. Aki over the wall. Here comes the Varus ultimate. Sejuani is really tanky. Good bullet time to save PP God. Means that he doesn't have to flash or heal out. One extent getting really good value out, by the way. His Varus has been much better than his Tristana in that last game. And no kills come over here. Who has it worse, BLG or T1 right now, do you think? Shanji running a Hoyer again. Of course, didn't get the solo kill onto him last time because he had too many teammates nearby. Walked up, got the flash at least. Seeing how nasty the Yorick can be. T1 is middle of the pack right now, being Nirvana and LPL. That is some harsh words. Damn. Dragon going down here. TT looking to force onto this. Brawl comes through. Yone has a great ult angle and gets two, but doesn't get lead. There's no bullet time, though, so I don't really think there's any damage. PP got flashes, and Patron does as well. Still commits with the W. A blast cone forces them back into the play, and Feather gets another two-man combo. Leave. Caught out. And NIP are yet to find a kill. NIP have no engage. They don't have an early lead. They can't set up for their team fights. What the hell is NIP doing with this draft? NIP really caught out here. And you know, this is the worry. The Braum can't actually save your carries from the Ernie ultimate. PP God gets caught out here. And of course, this time it's not even on to the carries, right? But Braum can't save you. Not from this kind of combination. Not into an Ambassador ult, not into a Yone ult. This time it's Satab that gets away with it. Satab, arguably his best champion, is the Yone as well. And NIP, despite having, you know, a lot of fanfare around them, they just came off of you know, series versus Invictus Gaming and versus Weibo. They lost versus Weibo, won versus IG. TT, a team which my expectations have been going down and down on because their failure to have an identity, they're seemingly just kind of mental boot. That's fair to say. Coming away with a much better game 2 here. I mean, NIP yet to get a kill on them. And a reminder, folks, I mean, Genji had a game recently where they got everything but one Grub. Sadly, for me, that doesn't count as a perfect game anymore. It's pretty much impossible to get perfect games anymore, really, in League of Legends, because the Grubs are so easy to trade 1-for-1 on smites. 5 Grubs, Yone in a side lane. Teleporting down towards bot side. NIP, they got to pull out some smoke and mirrors. They're 30. They're not 13. They're 3k down. Going on 4k. At 16 minutes. First tower does go... Well, first tower doesn't matter because the feat's already been completed by TT. But NIP get the first tower, I suppose. But all of the gold is nucleated onto a Yone, which, as we said before, NIP don't have the answers for. Carol goes into mid lane. Again, remember 5 Grubs makes it easier to kill that tower too. They get a little bit more damage. PP God gets an ult onto Feather, but this isn't ulting Alistair. I mean, they will get the kill here most likely. Doesn't have the flash. Extra auto attack, ult pulled through from that. Actually, if that ultimate had hit from Baytron, they could have been in with a bit of trouble. And NIP starting to give some macro worries. He only takes that top lane turret, but while all this is happening, both solo and is going towards bot side. The dark procession hits. Derby, I mean, he just kills Hoya on the turret with Shanji. They get themselves how many towers? 1, 2, almost 3. Baytron now ult now on bot side. Derby, he doesn't have the Rift Maker, so he can't play out this. Tries to put down a grab field to buy some time. Not able to do so. At least Shanji will be able to get out alive, but NIP, we asked them to play some smoke and mirrors, and I think that's one of the better options they could have had. Dragon in a minute and a half. Baytron is really fed. 3-0-3 on the Sejuani. NIP will really struggle to take that Sejuani down at this point in the game. You'll have to wait until, you know, a lot longer when... Well, it's not even like MF's a tank killer, right? Yeah, I mean, I think TT, they have a very hard to kill tank now. I mean, catches in the Dark Procession, flashes out of the ultimate to make sure there's no CC under the turret. Okay, this is how NIP play the game. They just have to somehow split push to a victory, prey on the fact that Hoya is not going to be strong enough in a 1v1. Or... Pushing in towards mid lane now. TT, of course, with the 5 rows make it so much easier for them to take out turrets. And while this is happening, NIP don't have side lane pressure this time. Dragon now taken by TT, no contest. So that's going to be Cloud Soul points for TT. Third dragon on the board. Cog, the thing is, I'm solo casting, and if you haven't tuned into the stream before, we've been live here every single day for 6 to 9 hours, I'd say, for the last 2-3 weeks. I also do that alongside doing the LEC as well, because there's no official LPL broadcast anymore. Now, you know, I can be more active, and when the gameplay comes up to 2, sure. But while all this is happening, I also wanted to make a tweet about the T1 Series 2, so that's why I'm a little bit quiet there. But hopefully it's still an enjoyable experience for you, and hopefully it's not a negative thing. So NIP, they're against Soul Points. They don't have a way to kill this Sejuani. They don't have lanes pushed up for side lane pressure. Atkan's going over. NIP have 0 engage. And TT can just waltz across the map. So teleport in. NIP are going to contest the Atkan, but it's too late in this case too. And it's a great flash forward. Feather having an awesome game on the Alistair. The bullet time is not enough. Yone gets into the backline, and NIP, it was too little and too late of a contest on the Atacon. Baytron will be able to follow up onto Durnby. The victor falls. It's a clean fight. NIP, still only 2 kills to their name. One of them was under that turret from the map trade earlier. And TT, while they do get themselves the Atacon as well. They clean up the rest of the petals on the floor, and NIP, they have no engage. They have no pressure on the map. They threw their early game jungle advantage. And this likely looks like it's going to a game 3 now. This feels very dumb. Very, very dumb. Setup, great double ult there. And the bullet time is stopped. It's so hard to buy space for your misfortune to do anything. And this is like, look, this is the kind of game where I look at this misfortune and I just don't see what it's meant to achieve. And what are you meant to do here? As this misfortune. The ambassador can get to you. The Ione can get to you. The Varus is still forcing Braum shields out of you as well. And if the Braum starts to kind of clump up with you to deny some of those skill shots like the Sejuani, like the Varus, I just don't think it saves you versus those solo laners either. Maybe NIP could have had a solo lane victory where, you know, the Victor dominates lane, the Yorick goes into a side lane, wins through that. That's not been the case either. They did push for that inhib turret earlier, but I just don't think NIP will be able to force on the map early enough now. And now, you know, this Neferi has to play from so far behind. Beitron casually 1v4ing in the front line and taking 0 HD, 0 damage. Quarter of the HP bar's down. Doomby will try and control what lane he can. There is an objective bounty on the other side as the Yorick is the sole gold lead for NIP, but we've seen this before. The Yorick can win in side lanes. That doesn't mean you win the game. It's all well and good saying, okay, you know, the Yorick can, you know, can kill towers quickly, but how do you actually win the game? Gets a side lane turret, they lose a mid lane inner turret. Shanji now going to be forced to recall from that top side of the map likely, or at least back off. Has his ultimate available if he wants to summon it. He's overstayed now, and this is why I was saying, well, maybe you had to try and back off. Eclipse damage comes in from Hoya, really good all over the wall, and Shanji now caught in a 1v2, soon to be a 1v3. There is no outplaying this. The Yorick has a gold lead, but it doesn't really matter much now, does it? We can just see that NIP, they just can't. They can't contest on TT. If they group up, there's a chance of an engage from the Sejuani, the Yone, and the Alistar, so they have to play respectfully there. They have to somehow buy time for the Yorick, but they can't pin TT to one area of the map. There's no threat on NIP to TT. Now you've got 3 items on the Yone who's 3,000 gold ahead. He's a full item on... He's a full Infinity Edge in worth of gold, basically, compared to Doomby. Ahead of the game. And now there's a minute until Dragon. TT, after a poor game 1, bounced back so well in game 2. Well, we had questions about NIP's draft, and they've been left unanswered. Leave getting towards 3 items is okay. But that's not going to deal with the Sejuani, who is 2,000 gold up on their own. Even if you get a full Black Cleaver stacked onto that Sejuani, I don't think it makes that much difference. Okay, Black Cleaver is now stacked, and Beitron still just doesn't give a damn. Flash away as Beitron walks up 1 person into 4 people, and NIP have to respect it. Yorick's still on the side lane. Shanji, oh, that's not a bad bullet time, I guess, but it still only amounts to a third of the value from Onyx Sen, of the HP from Onyx Sen, who pops the barrier, and then suddenly Cloud Soul goes to TT, which makes NIP's drops even harder. If you try to play the 3-lane style now, play towards Yorick on the side lane, TT will collapse on you quicker. They move quicker with the Cloud Soul now. They get the Scuttle on the top side, but NIP, oh, they catch out a member here as well. Doomby, it's not been his best showing. Over 3,000 gold behind now against Setup's. Beitron walks forward. Feather makes another big play. His Alistar has been so sublime. I think MVP for me between Beitron and Feather, honestly. Setup has the gold, but the play... Hang on a second. 1v2ing in the base. Leave is shredded. Setup rebinds the soul, takes the mid lane turret. How is this happening? Yorick teleports away to get away from Hoya. And TT marching towards the base. They have 5 grubs in NIP. Where's their wave clear? I don't think they have any. In 26 minutes, TT turned the tables. They'll bring us to a 1-to-1 series. The Varus still comes out. Cloud Soul makes him so speedy to walk in towards this side of the base. Braum goes down. Next to follow is that Yorick, who was given so many resources and paid off none of them. The ninjas left a little bit without their disguises here. Mask off. Didn't look like they could play that composition. And TT, I mean, I actually think the Xayah is pretty good there. There's no enchanter for the Jinx. They lock it in anyway. Maybe thinking, look, Nautilus, Ahri, and the Skarner, they can get the first kills to the resets come through. 1xN is a very good hyper carry player. I will say, I think I might have preferred the Xayah though anyway, because there are, you know, double melee threats of the Pantheon and the Leona diving at you. And of course, the NIP do choose to keep that Pantheon in the jungle. They choose not to put it towards the mid lane, where of course, Doomby has been playing a lot of that. He goes towards the Corki instead. Corki into the Ahri. Not Corki's best matchup all the time, actually. We'll see how that plays out. Setup had a good game too. Whose draft do I prefer? I think I prefer NIP's draft. I think they have a lot more range this time. They can actually... Well, let's hear how the crowd feel with these wonderful acoustics. Oh, catch to the level 1. That's the problem. Aki uses the E level 1 and gets out, but blows the flash and has to start E. That'll massively slow down the clear speed of the Pantheon as we wait for those gyros to finish. NIP's jungler makes a critical mistake. No flash for those early plays. And no E for that clear speed. That's a big win for TT. I don't think there's anything particularly interesting in our runes. Nope, not at all, not really. Okay, so let's have a think. I like to think sometimes, dangerous sometimes. Aki, I mean, he can use the empowered E to you know, get some damage down, but look how slow this is going to be. He needs to hit that level 2 ASAP, and that E is really bad for, you know, most of your clear. Not going to have that W for the empowered auto attack to give you basically your passive back. Hook lands at level 1. I mean, now your Aftershock is down. Not the best, actually. Level 2 being fought over now. Of course, Jinx has good wave control, but Kai'Sa with the Q level 1, not bad at that either. Typically, Kai'Sa struggles against outrange kind of matchups in bot lane, but LPL's found ways to make it work. Level 2 hit from both teams now. Ooh, a little bit scary. Of course, any lane kind of blowing up and getting good value could change the draft completely, especially with a snowball carry like the Kai'Sa. They get ahead. Much, much harder to play out, isn't it? Top side, we expect Shanji to doing great things here. He's a very notable Rumble player. Probably getting the push up here. Now, typically the thing is, the Gwen wins, or at least gets control in the actual individual fights, but Rumble is so much more useful and easy to play around. Now, that Equalizer uniquely powerful onto long-range carries, because you're longer range, turns out, with that Equalizer. Good trade here from the Ahri. Gets the electrocute down. Hook goes in with the Zenith play. PP God swinging it around. Feather taking a little bit of his HP, but not losing control of the lane. The crash will still come in fine. It's free for Pantheon could gank bot lane. No, that's not true, because he has to get that level 3 on a slower time point, because his E is a lot slower. And if he goes towards bot lane, Beitron goes into his other quadrant. He's not done just yet. And steals things away. This is the problem with dropping camps in jungle matchups in the current meta. You do get punished very, very quickly. We saw what happened to Aki in that last game. He did try and go for some aggressive plays, and he lost his early jungle advantage, and he really couldn't impact the game that much after that point. The Pantheon can't afford to drop too much. No option in mid lane now. Doomby did freeze this wave out, but he pulled the wave over towards his side, but not able to freeze it. Doesn't get double scuttled as Aki. I think NIP should win this. I think their composition is better. Not that TT don't have good answers to it, but we saw the other day what happens when a Jinx doesn't have an Enchanter. If the Jinx doesn't have an Enchanter, it makes it much harder for you to survive stuff like Kai'Sa, Rumble, both firing damage onto you. If the Equalizer tags the Jinx in a team fight, it is very hard to play out. You don't have a Lulu. You don't have, I don't know, Soraka. What else is good for them? Milio used to be very good with the Jinx. Stuff to just keep you a little bit safe from that Equalizer, give you enough HP to turn the fight around. TT, however, outside of that, you know, if there's a misused Equalizer, if you get the first kill, Jinx gets the reset, magic happens. They do have decent peel. They do, but it just doesn't work against the Equalizer. You know, if a Solar Flare hits onto you, there's an Equalizer, and then you get the Kai'Sa coming through. Shanji is being collapsed onto. Ah, that is almost onto the traps. Very nearly gets hooked back onto them too. The flash is enough to see him to safety. Though on the other side, Hoya flashes under his own turret, and the Zenith Blade gets the CC. However, with a snip and snash, they can't get him killed. Setup's now on the boss side, doesn't have the level 6, but gets the kill, and gets the flash as well. Oh, that's a problem. Setup will have another cooldown coming up, and NIP fumble the bot side dive. Setup walks away 1-0 on 1. Derby will be able to get a good trade onto him. But Setup getting 3 Dark Seal stacks is so huge for the Ahri. Needs to be careful now. Is there going to be a Zenith Blade over the wall? Just wondering whether Derby had his cooldowns back up. No, it's too early levels. Peepgod choosing to recall from the play. So in the grand scheme of things, Shanji loses his flash, but no one dies for TT. On the other side, you know, Hoya gets 2 assists. Gets to collect the wave anyway. The Ahri who has... we'll see what build they go for. I mean, I hope they don't go for the Rod of Ages. I think they need more damage here to dive onto the very squishy team of NIP. It's a good W placement there from Hoya. Meant that... Oh, and the Q misses from Aki. Oh, the empowered Q misses. Lee flashes forward and can't get anything either. Oh, the last auto attack still doesn't kill either. The Champ, the flash over the minions to make sure that Aki doesn't get the final kill there either. Very well played from Setup to roam down. Gets himself a lot of value from this. Yes, drops some farm, but who cares? Walking forwards, BP got flashes, gets hooked out of it and can't get the Shield of Daybreak. Charm is not saved for the Pantheon though, that might be a mistake. Setup does have the level 6, but it's not enough to save Feather. Good flash forward from PP God. He lands, and TT disrespect the engage coming through. I do think that Setup should have saved that Charm for the Pantheon W. Very easy to cancel that out. Didn't need to use that onto the Leona. I think that was a mistake there from Setup. The big thing about the Leona into Nautilus is you throw the E out from the Leona, and if the hook hits you, the hook actually bounces you out of melee range, so you can't follow up with a stun. So Nautilus does get to walk away for free. So at that point, well, Peepgod's used the flash, used the E, no chance he gets to gap close, save that CC for someone who can actually harm you afterwards, you know? Central play up towards pop side now. He does have the Impale, and there is no flash for Shanji. Shanji's overpushed. No help this time. NIP making big mistakes, and the Equalizer is used for 3 minions. It's used for 3 minions. Doesn't even stop the next wave coming in. Shanji, for someone who's got such a crazy history on the Rumble, this is not the kind of play I expect from him. NIP feels like they are losing track of the map. I wonder whether a lot of that is from Aki's early game slowdown, meaning that he couldn't go towards the lanes in the way that he wanted to. On a regular Pantheon game where you've managed to, you know, save your flash, start with a decent clear speed. Oh, cannon blocked by Feather. Leave will miss out on that cannon. Good job to deny that bit of gold. Now the hook comes through. There's no W from him now. Has that level 6. And here comes Aki. Beitron's here as well. And he also has the Impale. Didn't use it on that top side, remember? There's no flash on Aki. And he gets pulled back. He gets the Empowered. He uses it on the E. Is that going to be enough? Feather goes in for the hook. And the ult from the Jinx starts things off. There's a Zenith Blade, but is it enough to kill the damn Nautilus? No, it's not. Double kill over to Jinx. As NIP are losing control of this series. Terrible draft in game 2. Shaky, panicked early game in game 3. And TT, who started off the series poorly themselves, have come to life. 1xN, their hyper carry specialty player, 2 kills on the Jinx. It's a draft that is hard to play the Jinx in. But with that amount of gold, it'll put them towards their breakpoints that much quickly. There are gold leads across the map for Thunder Talk. Great hook. Great hook. After the W's been used from leave as well, so we can't even turn around for even more damage onto Feather. Beitron comes down on good timing, knowing that the play is coming through. Aki has no flash. I mean, Aki charges up his passive so he can get the Empowered E for the movement speed afterwards, but even that's not enough to escape. And PP God, sadly for him, yeah, left with a little bit of hook envy, I suppose. Size isn't everything, but that's one goddamn large dredge line. Remember, we still have a series after this too. JDG playing against IG after this one. Up in Group Ascend. This is still in Group Ascend too, of course. Ooh, ult going down towards the side. It's just trying to stop the recall. It is. The Doomby stopped on the recall. Has teleport. Deny him, you know, 8 seconds of time onto the map. Which can be important, actually. Can be important. Jinx with the low cooldown ultimate can sometimes just use that. It's not like you use it that often. And setup has gone for the Malignants. Good. I wanted to see the Malignants this game. You wanted to have that extra snowballing capability. So I like that a lot coming through from setup. What'll happen next? Grub spawning now. NIP do have the 3 Grubs. TT, they have all the strength to fight around this, though. 1xn does need to finish off their item, of course. Hasn't gone to complete that just yet. Going towards the Yuntal. I also, this game, I do want to see maybe 3rd item Bloodthirster from the Jinx. I think you need that to make sure that you can stay alive in team fights. I think NIP playing this game from behind is a very different... Hang on a second. Oh, the Solar Flare goes wide. Is it enough to save the Jinx over flashes? And Aki can't get onto the target. Oh, this is a problem. NIP try and shut down the Jinx, but they get the reset anyway. The passive from Leaf also doesn't kill. 1xn finally dies, but it's the cost of so many ultimates. Shanji gets 1, gets 2, actually. And maybe TT... rue the loss of their AD carry. Hoya goes down 2, but they still claim a 2 for 3. NIP have to use so much to shut down that Jinx. The big win here from NIP is getting both summoners out of 1xn. We said this draft is incredibly hard to play from the Jinx, and this is a good blueprint as to why. There's always another ultimate to make sure that Jinx can't really get the clean team fight. Still costs, though. What? Solar Flare, Pantheon ultimate, Equalizer, and leaves Killer Instinct as well. We're watching the replay, right? Even the Solar Flare doesn't land that well, but, you know, this is straight onto the Jinx traps. Great CC coming through from Feather and Beichuan. 1xn gets a very good amount of work onto the carries in front of him. Leave with the first rank ultimate does get in range, and then 1xn gets hit with a Comet afterwards. A little bit unlucky that the Comet actually heads towards the Jinx instead of Beichuan. I thought that would hit the Skarner first because it was the first target damage, but League's coding works that way sometimes. And you get the special banner for the Faker Ari skin when you get the kills there. Setup now 7 stacks on the Dark Seal. 3-0 and 1. I think Setup should absolutely slam a Magi's here. Because while it's easy to take down the Jinx with your follow-up damage, much harder to take down that Ari. I think Setup can be a secondary carry here. I want to see Setup immediately go towards a Magi's. Beichuan spotted up by 3 people. Flashed over the wall. Good victory getting that summoner away. True, Mecha, true. Oh. Almost 2,000 gold lead for TT overall. There is a gold lead over towards Shanji with that double kill in that last fight. You do get scared as TT if the Rumble gets going. You do get scared there. I think a fed Rumble makes it very hard for the Jinx to play. And we've talked about that before, right? We're talking about, well, the gold on Jinx means she gets towards her item breakpoints more easily. Can play towards, they've gone towards the Bloodthirst, the third item rather. Which I think is very important in this game, by the way. Because I think you need a way to heal up some damage. Yes, there's a bit of a DPS race where you want to get that reset first, but I also think 1xn needs to play a little bit defensively. Could even go towards Guardian Angel third item. Maybe that's an answer, if it's a big enough fight. Dragon spawning in 20 seconds, 3 grubs apiece. 1.5k gold lead over to TT. Cult almost put in here now for 1xn. No flash on Aki, which means it's harder for him to get on towards a 1xn. There is flash on PP God, and 1xn doesn't have flash. I actually wonder whether TT should give up this fight. Unless there's a very good opening. Because the problem is, playing around Jinx flash is by far the most important thing in this game. Hoya, buddy, you got to be careful here too. Third of his HP shredded by Shanji. There's a good amount of gold behind him. PP God gets caught out. Zenith Blade cancelled out on by that Charm. The Equalizer is not bad, but it's not onto 1xn. This is a problem. You need to be hitting the Jinx. 1xn gets the reset, and Aki. But Aki's gone to Narnia. There's a Lion, the Witch, and the audacity of this jungler. What has he done? Resets come through. Shanji will get some decent damage through from the Flamestorm, but it's just not enough. The resets come through, but Leave wants to make it a bit more interesting. W comes down from the Gwen, try to continue the fight. Derby not able to do enough. Leave does, however, clean up some more. Setup goes over with that last charge of the ultimate. Doesn't want to go into the unknown. What the hell? What's the NIP thinking? Your target is always the Jinx. It is always the Jinx. Sets up 10 stack Dark Seal. And yes, it's nearly cleaned up by Leave, but what the heck are you thinking? Playing around a fight like this and not targeting the Jinx. Oh boy, right. Putting the control ward down. PP got a little out of sorts there. The Equalizer is good in terms of AoE value, but you need to catch the Jinx. Aki just, I don't know. That's not your play, buddy. That's not your play. That's, yeah. That's when your satnav says recalculating. Takes you down to a safe location. Doomby actually gets a good value here with the second AD carry on the rift for them, of course. What was the T1 score? 2-1. But not for them. Now, sadly for me, I haven't seen Sathav immediately pick up a Magi's, which he should have done. You should absolutely go for the Magi's in this game, by the way. That Haunting Guy should be a Magi's, and that would completely seal off this game for NIP, I'm pretty sure. Very hard to shut down the Ahri with the extra movement speed, even with all of your engage. And you can snowball so well. Tower's going to go down, TT. Take that. They have the feats of strength as well. And the gold lead slightly increased from before. 2 dragons down as well. NIP not able to claim that after the Fracka from the bot side. Fracka. But if you use everything on Jinx, Gwen will melt you. At this point in the game, it won't. And also, Hoya's not the best Gwen ever. And also, Gwen is melee range and the Jinx is not. You need to kill the Jinx. PP God, you cannot give up these easy bush checks either. Very easy pick off into the reset from the Jinx. And that's a flash forward for a wonderful impale. And it's another kill thrown onto it. The Equalizer does go down, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Leave tries to finish off a kill, but it would have only been onto a Nautilus. Does kill that deep diver, but dies for the purpose of it. Satsab walks away with even more kill participation. Charm lands as well. Aki lucky to get out of that alive. And NIP, oh NIP. Poor draft in game 2. Poor play in game 3. And NIP struggling to get the carries down. PP God. Going a little too deep without protection. And now they have to pay the consequences. Teleport now coming in from Shanji. Shanji coming in. Doesn't have an Equalizer. Herald's going to go down. And he's going to get spotted up by Beitran. Hang on a second. That's a bit of a problem. I mean, Beitran is not that tanky to the Rumble, but he's tanky enough to set up. Setup does have flash. Shanji doesn't. It should be a flash shot. 1xN over as well. I mean, Pantheon's coming through. They get one onto the Skarner. So it is a 1-for-1. But 1xN gets more gold. I'd say Setup gets more stacks. He doesn't go for the Magi's. The cretin. Magi's is by far Ahri's best second item, by the way. Should always go for that one. Oh boy. And Hoya uses that ultimate to clear out mid lane as well. Staying in top side, no Shanji for wave clear here. Doomby doesn't walk up into the 1v2 either. What has happened to NIP? You know, decent series versus Weibo, decent series versus IG as well. You know, some mistakes in it, but TT are not a team and we are expecting much from Group Ascend on recent form. PP got very easy face check. Hoya, 1xN, shred him alongside Setab. And Leave gets completely blasted. Completely blasted. I just don't get it from NIP. Very easy face checks being punished. Doomby goes down to the lethal tempo. Satab has the second item of that Leandry's in now for the extra burn. Should have been a Magi's. And 1xN has a freaking Infinity Edge. And now he has both his summoners up. He has the cleanse and he has the flash. Two minutes until the dragon comes back up for TT now. It's 19 minutes in, and they've got this kind of a gold lead, and these kind of items built up on their carries. Yes, there's 2 items on the Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa might be able to clean up a perfect scenario, but you're behind so much gold compared to the Jinx. It is so much easier for TT's carries to pop off. You know, there's been talk about the Gwen in some of the chats as well. I completely agree. We're now at the point where, particularly once you hit 2 items on the Gwen, I think, if you focus everything onto the Jinx, I think the Gwen can carry. For my money, I think also the Ahri can carry as well. There's no real tank on the side of NIP, and Ahri is very fed with a Malignance, which is more damage than the Rod of Ages early on into the game. 10 stack Dark Seal basically puts you another 700 gold ahead in terms of value as well, because each stack of Dark Seal, 4 AP, 40 extra AP, basically, you know, extra 2 amp tones on top of that. Pushing it with the Herald towards bot side. chance of an extra play being made here too. Setup could actually walk forward. I mean, he has the Malignance. I actually think Setup should walk forward and look for a charm right now. But I suppose with not wanting to pull Hoya down to that bot side, they choose not to. Shanji, no flash. Does have the ultimate. TT choosing not to make a play there. Oh, flash forward from PP, but 1xN has the cleanse. This is the problem about taking the fight into the Jinx, who has the summon as the equalizer doesn't connect because 1xN flashes out of it. Setup starts to put the damage down and gets a reset. NIP once again failed to hit their primary target. Shanji turns around, trying to get some damage, but all it does is char a little bit of the faces of TT and leads to no actual kills. Feather gets, well, Feather goes down, but it's 1 for 3. But the carries of TT are playing so well with the reset fights. 1xN, we have been criticizing him an awful lot when he's been on the misfortune. That champion seems to just sap the skill out of our AD carries. Our strongest AD carries in the region should not be given misfortune. Give them the Jinx, give them the Kai'Sa, give them the Ezreal. Give them a chance to fight, for God's sake. 1xN 7-1-7 after a wonderful Varus game as well. This is the 1xN which I want to see from Thunder Talk Gaming. This Wonder Kid coming up from the LDL not too long ago. PP God gets cancelled out with the hook again. Feather, very easy combo onto him. Leave gets Nautilus ult. He can't get himself onto much damage there. And 1xN flashes out of the... Well, the Pantheon Soul comes through, but the Equalizer doesn't land onto him because of the flash. And the turnaround is so nasty. Shanji knows he's not getting out at this point. Not with the reset on Ahri. Would have killed him. And now NIP. 7,000 gold behind. 10 stack Magi's from setup now. He does have the book. However, it is my duty to tell you, if he had gone for the Magi as a second item, it would be 25 stacks now. And he'd have an extra, you know, 75 AP on top of it. Kind of nice. Right, okay. Caught out. Aki, does he have enough value from his E? No. No, he doesn't. Aki goes down. Kill goes over to Ahri. He gets another 4 stacks, which of course is an extra 20 AP. Ain't that nice? Ain't that nice? Doomby dodges out on that hook. 1xN has his ult. Setup does well. There's no Pantheon. Pretty sure TT can look for an aggressive fight here if they want. Beitron goes forward. They feel like it too. Flash away from Leave. Traded for the flash on the Ahri, and they catch Doomby. They don't get Leave, but they get his summoners. Setup goes forwards anyway. Has one last stash to get over the wall. Misses out on the charm. TT. We have been waiting for them to come alive. We were wondering whether it would happen. A record high finish from TT as an organization in Split 1, finishing 6th place, higher than any team in their lineage of DMO and Sino Dragon had done beforehand. Beating BLG in a best of 5 in Split 1 too, but collapsed going into this one, really. This is much better. This is what we wanted to see. This is so much more what we wanted to see. Resetting now. No objectives up. Oh, Pantheon trying to come in while there's no extra summoners available. 1xN doesn't have the cooldowns. Shanji flashes forwards. Even with the Mikhails, it's not enough. But have they gone too far? Setup comes back into the play and gets a kill. That is a problem. So you're giving more stacks over towards Setup. You get Jinx, but you've used an awful lot for it. And my worry is, I mean, there's no objectives to go into this now. You get your ultimates pulled out of you. TT... They lose their AD carry, but, I mean, it's not like they have anything left. Hang on a second. Hoya, does he have Needlework? Coming up a few seconds. Leaf doesn't have his own flash as well. It's a little bit dangerous there. Hoya has flash. Does he flash for Needlework? No, chooses not to. I think that's a big investment for just a kill into 1xN. It doesn't go into a Baron. Doesn't go into an Ascon. That's already been has flashed himself. The Raptor is stopping the hook from being able to go through. Rookie saved by the Raptor. Missing would have been able to flash for the hook. A clutch escape there. Rookie escapes. This early game, so back and forth. The flash blown in the top side, then in the first bush for Shun. Now here as well, Arla stopping, really trapping the Shy into the worst scenario. This is, hang on a second, the Shy stopping his auto attacks for a little bit. That is why the Jace can struggle into the Yorick. That's why you often do want that phase rush to make sure you're not slowed into that Dark Procession. Because if you get the phase rush, because often what Yorick wants to do is make sure you get hit by that slow from the Morning Mist and then into that. If you have that phase rush, it makes it much harder to do so. And disengage much more easily from that E just hitting you. 10 CS up in this early game is the Shy. I was wondering whether Gala and Mako should have just dropped the Ignite in that early lane for pressure. Didn't happen. Maybe a missed opportunity. Rookie getting the bounce. Ooh, now that's a problem. Doesn't have the flash, and he gets hit by the grab field. Great grab field from Scout. Very good early mid-jungle TVT from Scout and Shun. Ignite drop now from Missing on cooldown, but Missing has no flash down, and he misses the hook on the wall. Get me pictures of Spider-Naut. He's in the morgue. Need you to confirm his identity. Yep, that's Missing all right. JJ walking forwards, trying to get some jungle matchup bullied away from Shun. Missing a player, which I say this every cast, he has been subject to a lot of criticism. After that year on the super team, feels like he's struggled to live up to expectations as one of the better supports in the LPL. I don't know whether we can really call him that anymore. Had some better moments for sure, but more often than not, this feels like what we're commenting on for him. Scout, good lead in this early lane. 10 CS up. Rookie punished for pushing hard. Scout had Shun in the back pocket. The assist over towards that Sejuani will definitely help. Roam now around the map. 40 seconds till the Grubs. Of course, Grubs when you're playing around Yorick, around Ryze, around Jace, very important because they are likely to hit turrets. Dragon up 2. Typically, we have seen that Dragon for Grubs trade. Gala and Pays even in CS. This is why they picked an MF, of course, being able to go even in the early lane. We'll see whether the MF actually does become that, you know, that hamstringing pick where you can't really get the damage down that you'd like. I guess in this game, there is no hyper tank for the Misfortune ultimate to do no damage to. Ooh, the Shy jumping in towards Ala there. And this is why, yeah, it kind of sucks playing that Jace into the ghouls and everything. Ala actually trading up there even. Yikes, man. I suppose the Shy still has his biscuits running as well. Well, not running, but has them in inventory. Shun on top side. Lilia clearing through top side, trying to get an XP advantage, not wanting any of these camps to be up. They have the better side of the map for the Grubs. JDG will be pinned against the wall. It means that JJ doesn't have to... Well, he has more retreat routes. Anyone going to be playing towards this? A little bit scary to play against the Nautilus like that. Shield goes up. A little bit of damage goes down as the hook comes through. It doesn't this time. It doesn't miss. Never said not the best fault. Rookie has no flash, and he is in a bad spot. Though Chaos Storm comes through, and it is an easy first kill. However, JJ is left alone because of this. Gala has the flash. Could go forwards on Shun as well. The Ignite is dropped. Is that going to be enough? Mako goes forward. Support combat. Pays now caught into the play, and JJ is still running. He salves himself full Q stacks. Maybe he can go towards more. Does he go for a flash Q? Doesn't even need it. Goes for it anyway. Pays. Is the next Q going to come through? Yes, it is. Another Q. It's the burn coming after. Pays dies to the passive of JJ. Rookie dies so JJ can get a clean fight. And IG walk away with a great jungle advantage. JJ getting the Lilia, the primary support jungle carry right now, could be exactly what Invictus Gaming needs. JJ, arguably the best player on this roster in recent weeks. 2-0-1. Not even stopping over for the Grubs, just wanting to get on towards that Scuttle Crab. There is potentially a hook coming through from Missing. Shun now back up on the map, but level 6 from JJ, that is scary as heck. Saves that smite. Shun has a smite up now too. I think Shun needs to be a little bit careful here. Smite comes through from JJ. Just 1-for-1 in terms of those Grubs. JJ could still walk around, just get hit by that double W. And Mako's coming over now. Can Shun even stick around? I don't even know if he can. Has to jump out. So even though he had that smite, can't get that second. 2-for-1 over to IG rather than JDG. JDG, so well played. Gets hooked, but knows that terrain means he won't get pulled into the team. I think Rookie walking up here is actually okay. Because JDG gets himself a free fight because the cooldowns are used onto the Rise. Now, it's not great, but it's okay. You know you have no bullet time to worry about. JDG gets to stack up his Q. And if Lilia gets to get a clean fight where you just continually stack Q, it's quite hard for Lilia to lose these plays. Dream just gets applied onto both of them. Stun does land from Mako here. The tree damage comes through from the edge of that blooming blows. And pace goes down. I don't know what you do against a Lilia this fed now. I mean, you have Nautilus ult, but eventually what's going to happen is Lilia's going to get Zhonya's and JDG are going to struggle to figure out what to do. Well, no. Maybe that's not true. You do have Sejuani Nautilus. That is a good engage. However, if JJ lands a good enough Swell Seed, it's a problem. It is a big problem. Shy checking out the brush. Will know that there's something in that. Gets hit by those ghouls. Oh, the Phase Rush gets him out of the Dark Procession. That's where you take that rune. Jumps forwards again now. Shun does have ultimate. JJ does too, though. And gets a double lilting lullaby. What goes on to him first? It's the center of the watch out. Ala does have flash. I don't think it'll save him, though. Maybe it will. Sure, the Shy goes for the flash anyway. To the skies. The slow lands into the Swell Seed. But Ala just healing up enough because he has the cookies running. It's the cookies which saves his life. Shun now randomly on the other side of the map. Was he spotted going through here? Mako? Wanting to see if he can stop a recall coming through. Oh, and he'll find him out. Ah, Shun. He's been a bit jungle diffed this game. Realm Warp. Not cancelled. Flash from missing. Goes onto minion. Rookie dips inside. Shun going to make himself... He's going to get himself out safely. But while all this is happening, he's not doing anything useful. And that's a problem. Shun goes out, but he's left the bot side of the map. Not able to get any farm. Lilia gets a free recall. Shun is 1,000 gold down. Lilia, very, very far ahead. Liandry's at 10 minutes. This is warning signs being set off by JDG here. I'll get some alone time on this turret. Surviving that last play, importantly, of course. The extra gold onto the Shy would have meant a lot of difference. The Shy used his flash as well, remember, to try and close that off. Does get the Maiden micro. Something which I think a lot of LPL players have been struggling with, actually. The Maiden micros are not allowed to die to towers. You must have PTSD from the Shadow Lilia game. Oh, what a game that was, too. What a game that was. Shadow's Lilia, very, very impactful. Mako going to spot out Shun again. The thing is, Shun, after being delayed so heavily on that last recall, meant that JJ got like an extra minute of free time. There is a saying, of course, the most valuable resource that a jungler has is time. If you're delayed on your resets, if you're not taking camps while they're up, and the other jungler is, they get a lot of value. Oh, you're now up, 24 CS from JJ to be 6 camps ahead of Shun. That is very hard to combat against. If Lilia pulls ahead in the Sejuani matchup, the Sejuani can really struggle at points. Now, the way that you come back from this as Sejuani is by making plays, so JJ has to use their time to group up, to respect the Sejuani engage, and not be just perma-farming and getting towards that awful moments in the late game for the enemy team where you're staring down at a HP stacked, Zhonya's wielding Lilia, which has, the triple Haunting Guise items of the Liandry's, the Rift Maker, and that Bloodletter's Curse. Zhonya's on top of that, 4 items. Lilia is a late game carry. They are hyper scaling in a way that very few others are, because she's also an engaged champion at the same time. You need to get to that point of course, which is not always the easiest. What the Shy's doing here, by the way, is making sure that a single ghoul stays alive, so Yorick doesn't have the full complement of ghouls. Scout in this side lane. Gonna be spotted here. Oh, that could be a bit of an issue. Chooses not to flash from that. Is there a Realm Walk coming through? Uses the Chaos Storm instead. Goes on to Rookie. Gets goes past the E. Runs out of mana, though. Which means that he won't be able to follow up for a full kill. Maker uses the Ignite. Scout loses the ultimate. Plate's going to get taken here by Rookie. 1 Grub was taken by JDG of this current set. As JJ takes the other 2. 5 Grubs now spawning. Now taken for IG. On the other side, Ala has the single Grub. Trying to split pushes this Yorick. Jace knows he's on the weak side of the map. Does not want to touch that turret. Knows that Shun and Ala would be the end of him. Five Grubs making good work on this turret. A couple of plates taken up by Varus, who's going for the poke field, worth noting. See how much value he gets out of that. Harder to get value against something like the Sejuani or the Yorick, as HP stack is also going towards the Ninja Tabi and Arla too. It means it's a lot harder to get value against that Varus. From that Varus, rather. The Shy going for the Lethality Jace as well. Often does this into more difficult matchups and just, look, I'll just outplay. The Bruiser Varus does not win the DPS check against the Yorick. Sometimes you can get some poke down with Shock Blast and the... Hang on a second, Gala walking forward. So this, that's the Death Ray used from Scout as well. Does still have the Flash. Gala wanting to just save that ultimate. Now the Flash has come through. And Scout, oh, he's died to a Varus a couple of times already, and he's not even gotten himself into the game just yet at that point. Lost in the 1v1. There is an ultimate from JJ. Doesn't even need to use it. Scout caught out in a side lane. IG winning in the side lanes. Scout blowing that Flash easily on the other side of the map. Rookie just making sure he's stood behind that way. He doesn't know where the rest of the team are. Now he should know. What is Rookie going to do? Maybe looking for a teleport angle. Mako caught out, and JJ returning a kill for a kill. Mid laner for support, though. You take that as IG. Plus, there's some extra free time on the turret with 5 grubs for the Shy. Damage from Rookie onto the wave. He did delay his approach to that tower. I don't think he knew where the JDG team were. You could see just before that play, hanging off the wave on bot side, making sure that he wasn't going to get jumped on by Shun or Arla. It's quite telling, actually. It means that IG probably didn't know where teammates were, well, enemies were across the entire map, which is probably why I ended up Mako. Maybe if they thought they were on bot side, maybe that's why Mako went up into top side. Don't really see why Rookie would be stepping back otherwise, unless he was looking for a teleport angle, I suppose. Ooh, now Rookie's off Fog of War, walking about the place. Maybe, oh, Scout. Oh, Scout. His side laning has been really punished here. Typically a stronger part of his play. There was a sleep from JJ and a very dead Victor. Scout has been very good so far this split. IG hard punishing this Victor, though. And with 5 grubs, they'll be able to launch themselves onto the spot lane turret, give gold over towards Rookie on the rise, and JDG are losing the plot a little bit in side lanes. Not something I often say. One of our better set of side laning players in Arla and Scout. Typically, I look to them to learn how to play side lanes. But IG seems to be wanting to teach them a lesson instead. No one else on this side of the map. Rookie using those 5 grubs to damage that down. Shouldn't maybe looking towards a Heartsteel stack off of him, though. Come on. These players not understanding the value of a Heartsteel stack. Tut tut. Good push and pull across the map. 2,000 gold lead for IG. Haven't even taken themselves a tower yet. That'll start to increase. The Shy gets the first turret of the game. Good gold in towards him. Rod of Ages completed well on either side. Rookie using that Rise into the Yorick. I will say Rises are not a bad matchup into the Yorick. You can AoE clear through the ghouls fairly well. Of course, there were some changes to the Yorick, so the ghouls die less quickly to AoE, but still, Rise has a lot of it. Kind of scary. Gala doing well, wave clearing the mid lane as well. It's not really been about Gala, he's just holding down the fort in mid lane. Down a little bit of gold towards Pays. Oh, ultimate hits from Gala. This will be good chunk onto him. Does he stop for the Q? No. Missing gets a cook. Onto Mako. And there's no cancel left on that bullet time. Good punish there for missing. Gala didn't pull any arrow out against Pays. Maybe afraid that the slowdown for the Q would get him hit. The Shy, not able to defend this bot lane turret either. Azala will take that one. IG, bit of a mistake there. Their job was to stay safe in mid lane. The ult hits from Gala, but Mako kind of loses his mind a little bit. Herald now started up from JDG. That'll give them a good reprieve, actually. JJ, no ultimate just yet. Rookie dodges out on that hook. Good move speed from him. And Pays getting really good damage onto Gala. Of course, he doesn't have the sustain. There's a Bloodthirster on Pays, so Gala not getting good value here. Pays 3 kills now, by the way. This Misfortune doing a lot of work for JDG. They might be losing in the side lanes, but the mid lane push and pull is being won by Pays. While it's happening, Shy lost his tower earlier. Will be able to take a side lane turret for himself. 2 side lane turrets over to the Shy's Jace. And he's going for the lethality version too. So later into the game, you land that shock blast onto Missing and Scout particularly. If you don't have tank, really, they don't have sustain. That'll be very important. So see how much value the Shy gets on the Jace. Of course, he's been someone who's been criticized a lot recently for their games versus Weibo. His getting picked out at the end of those series was not particularly good. Dragon started up by JDG. It's going to go down for free, no contest. Mako, buddy, you need to be careful. He gets hit by another hook. There's no alter from missing. But you just got to be so careful. Could potentially flash for a Magnet Storm. Chooses not to, though. Gala close towards that edge of night second. Pays a level up on... Well, half level up. No, actually, almost a full level. I take that back. Almost a full level in terms of XP. NIP, that's the one. Yeah, the NIP series. So, Rookie back into the side lanes again. Even in gold, the Scout. He's not been the beneficiary of the side lane turrets. That's been the Shy who's been getting them. He's 1,000 gold up on the Yorick. Stabilizes that matchup. Fighting vision control. Rookie on the weak side of the map, playing away from his teammates. Does have teleport if anything spooky happens. Doesn't have Realm Warp. Swell Seed lands. Riftmaker in for JJ. Doesn't go for earlier Zhonya's. Wants to get that a little bit more actual combat power. Guess there's good stats on the Zhonya's. But the Riftmaker for the double Haunting Guy's passive, very, very powerful, of course. Between the both of them, you end up getting extra, you know, ton of damage. So it's 10% from Riftmaker, 6% from Leandries when they're fully stacked. Between the two of them, you get about 18% extra damage or whatever. Pure Viala. Split pushing in the side lane. Wonder what the Chinese casters are talking about. Normally it's at their discretion, that one, of the observers. 2 items for Pays, 2 items for Gala. More expensive items for Pays, though, of course, being the crit ones. Feats of Strength for IG, very important here, by the way. The Swift March on Gala makes it much harder for to shut him down whenever he ends up buying them. The extra movement speed on Swifties with the Feats of Strength, very, very nice. And the big thing with with Varus as well, is that your Q counts as a self-slow. So your Swifties reduce your own self-slow. You move quicker when you're charging Q. Which is, of course, very applicable at different points. Ghostblade and that Q charged. Ghostblade and Swifties give you a lot of movement speed. So Gala's in a good spot now. 1.4k ahead in the jungle. That's where a lot of that gold lead is across the map. IG, a team, you know, they've had a lot of weird series recently. 3-game series versus both Weibo and NIP. But they, of course, they did end up beating Toppies. Was the only team to do so far. Scout, good trade onto Rookie, but he's got Merc Trades and he has a Rod of Ages. Hard to actually do meaningful damage against him now. See, this is a champion where you can actually build the road. Hang on a second, this is a big collapse onto Rookie. He needs to be careful. He might need to throw that. He needs to throw that Realm Warp now. He needs to know he's in danger. Back off from the plate. You see that Pays and Missing. Both had flashes and ults. Could have really closed that down. Rookie, I think they could have hard forced onto him, but not wanting to leave every area of the map exposed besides that. If they went too hard towards top lane, they'd lose mid lane. JDG, maybe that's why they called off the play. Herald picked up by them. It's Flash Magnet Storm coming in. Pays still has his ultimate, and he has that cleanse. That's important. Gets out of the play, but he can't turn around for a bullet time. Gala, good damage here. And now, even though JDG pull off that top lane play, by rotating badly back towards mid lane, they lose the mid lane turret anyway, and the Herald takes that. 5 growth plus the Herald means they take 2 turrets in swift succession. Ola's on the bot side of the map. He'll try and have a whack at that bot lane turret, but IG playing better around towers and macro. That's not something which I'd say they do against JDG. Typically one of our best teams in the league about that. Lazy macro from JDG. Lazy rotation back from top lane. Poke around, back towards mid lane. Scout pushing up top side now. Hard for the Victors to get value without Grubs here, honestly. I just feel like you're just going to get permanently wave cleared against by any of these members. By the way, what IG are doing here in terms of their draft is quite similar to what BLG have done for a number of years at this point. If you look at IG's draft, Jace, good wave clear. Ryze, good wave clear, especially in a side lane scenario, and then the Varus with that too. It's hard to play macro against 3 wave clear lanes, because normally you'd be like, oh, I'm going to pull you away from that lane, I'm going to go attack you in this one or the one. Well, they wave clear so quickly in them that your options are removed very quickly. BLG did this with Rumble recently, they do it with Renekton. He very quickly clears through waves as well. doing stuff like Ari, very good wave player on side lanes, even though, and very safe at doing so. JDG, when they're looking for these plays across the map, you know, they have very good tower killer in the Yorick, but he's never actually able to hit it that easily. Dragons now start up by IG. They want to take this down quickly if at all possible. Victor on top side has that teleport. Ryze is going to answer. Picks up a blue buff on his way up there too. I don't think there's going to be a contest down here. JDG playing some Safari League of Legends where they watch the wildlife, i.e. the dragon, but not actually interact with it. Not great from JDG. They feel like they've been trapped of options a little bit. Mako maybe going a little too far from his team there. I was a little bit worried about him. But he's safe. Victor gets nothing done onto the top side tower. And again, look how quickly the wave's just taken away. Victor can't do much about it. Victor completes his recall. Gets a full Leandries. Big item completion for Scout. It's the same. Hang on a second. Yeah, I was about to say it's the same for Rookie, but that's not, of course, the case. He has the Seraphs. Do not the animals. Atacom now potentially up on the table. This is the GA version. And the problem is with this. Well, I don't know whether IG should be going for this right now. I suppose they have the control of this side of the map. Maybe they just want to force JDG to interact with them. You know, Yorick doesn't push up anything on the bot side just yet. So he's not going to be in position. He doesn't really want to play right now. Rod of Age is just completed. So Rookie's at level 15. They are tanking the Atacon. A little bit dangerous here. They do get shredded. If Missing gets a flash ult, that could be a problem. Mako, maybe Hex flashing over the wall, but spotted by that MFE. We're going for a smite fight. I think you have to call this off. You're leashing it. Maybe forcing him into play is a bit of a mistake. Mako does get hooked, but Missing doesn't get any value out of his combo. Lilia does get shredded down by the bullet. Is it enough? Go for the smite steal, and Shun gets it. IG leash the objective, and JDG find themselves an opening. The Realm Warp, I don't know if it's going to save him. It does, just about. But what a mistake by IG to keep the objective leashed. Big mistake. Now the GA is over for JDG. Maybe they can force this into a Baron. JJ no HP to fight with. Recall comes through. And JDG will thank their lucky stars that they get themselves an objective steal. IG. Feels like they lost their minds a little bit there. Oh, caught out on the side now, though. The Shy massively scored at catching out Scout, who loses his withdrawal. And that'll put into the dirt a little bit of what JDG could have done around that Baron. There is still gold going over to Scout, and I suppose the big thing here is, well, not the big thing, the consolation for IG is that it's no permanent buff to the side of JDG, but it is a breath of fresh air that JDG should not have been allowed to have. I think IG just thought, oh, we need to do something before Yorick pushes up on that side lane. That doesn't mean you leash up there. You didn't have the Seekers on JJ to get out of that Nautilus ult. Maybe you revise the value of what Missing had here. This is not going down quick enough. Rookie's not gunning it down. They don't hold the choke point well enough. And then JJ walks up to get, you know, something onto Missing, but it doesn't flash out early enough from the Nautilus ultimate to get value out of it. I guess scared that Shun would jump onto him afterwards. Not well strategized for IG, and Rookie lucky to get out of it. That is a close amount of HP. Little under 100 there he gets out with. Still gold lead to IG. Atacon buff up for a minute. I'm not actually sure JDG can do that much with it. 3 items for Pays is Misfortune. Is that enough to turn the game? Well, with a good enough Nautilus on, maybe. But now you're going into double Seekers from Rookie and JJ. Still got 1,000 gold down on the Yorick. I think this counter pick into the Jace not doing that much value. I think the Shy's played out the individual matchup well. Fight in the river. Missing doesn't manage to combo up with Shun onto that. JJ might be able to turn around for an ultimate. Very dangerous to fight in that kind of position. You need to stop Pays from ulting now. Anytime JJ looks for a fight, you must question where Pays is at the same time. Pays has cleanse, has flash. Blowing those cooldowns could be very important. JJ, you've got to be a little careful here, but does have that Seekers. That's a lot of damage there. He might be able to Seekers through it, and he does. No flash. JJ in a little bit of trouble here, but Pays no bullet time now. Where's the damage outside of that? JJ not going taken down just yet, but Shun flashes forward, but he doesn't have necessarily the HP to stick around. The Atacon up and now down. Scout doesn't have it anyway. Flashes forward, gets that reset. What's the grand kill tally? 2 down for IG. On the other side, Scout dies and it's a withdrawal, so it's 2 for 1.5. You're absolutely right though, Omni Guy. How big is it going to be now that Scout doesn't have that flash? Shun doesn't have that flash coming into that dragon fight in 30 seconds. However, I mean, I will say on the other side of it, no Zhonyas for JJ on that too. JDG, not content to sit around, start up the Baron immediately. Arla has teleport. He is there at the plate. You could potentially check with the Realm Warp from Rookie. How quick is this going down? Yorick does a good amount of damage to these. JJ back out on the map. No smite. What's the play? 5 seconds until that Varus ultimate is up. Do they have enough flights to slashes to escape the pit? Mako goes down early. And the Baron's going to go down too. Do they escape the play though? Varus ult hits Arla. If he loses the Baron buff, that's a big loss for them. The hook is Zhonya's out of. And Rookie will escape the play. If Shun dies, they'll have no smite for the dragon either. I think this is a massive overplay from JDG. JJ walks forwards. Pays has a lot of damage. Pays will be the one person, well, the two people alongside Scout to get out with that Baron buff. Dragon has spawned, and there's no dragon for JDG. That should be soul point for IG. And I wonder whether JDG have overplayed it a little bit there. Go back to what happened around this. Mako happy to tank up the cooldowns. The hook lands from missing. It's a lot spent for just a rel. I suppose it stops any kind of big engage coming through, but then you have nothing to shut down the carries. Great Seekers coming through from Rookie. Comboed up with the Shy with that Shock Blast, which is so high damage because the Shy has gone for the full Obliterate nuke build. Double full lethality poke coming through from the Shy and Gala. It's not a bad bullet time. Pace is very, very strong. While all this is happening, I suppose IG didn't immediately go towards the dragon. They cleared through the rest of the map. They reset. They go towards it now. Do JDG even care to contest? I don't think so. And that'll be soul point for IG. Zhonya's in for Rookie, so he manages to build out of that Seekers. Yet to happen yet from JJ. Lots of shields coming in from JDG. Wonder whether there's a Serpent's Fang angle later. IG leaving their mid lane turret a little bit left alone here. Not really sure there's much to be done to Mako here. Shun's no longer available. Garland may be angling for an ultimate there, actually. Trying to force the cleanse out of Pays. Mako holding on to his W. Knows he's safe for now. Actually, I say that. Is he safe now? Lot used. But he's going to go down again. Big damage coming in from the Shy. Still, double ultimates used. Is there a fight now? I think you have to Realm Warp in immediately. That's the play. Oh, missing. Gets hit by a Shock Blast. But where's the play from IG? I feel like the play there is, okay, they've used both their engage ultimates. Let's look for a fight. Maybe Afraid of Pays on the Misfortune is doing a good amount of work on this AD carry, which we said can be a bit of a hamstring in the LPL. I really feel like that's where you pull the Realm Warp and you just say, all right, let's fight. You've just used your engage ultimates. Choose not to, though. And JDG walk away, not with the biggest Baron power play ever. They lose the dragon as well. IG still holding on to their gold lead. It's not that much now. It's 30 minutes in, and it's only the 2,000. But the extra dragons in tow, I think they're okay with that. 3,000 gold ahead is the Shy, by the way, who does have the Serpent's Fang. He's happy with that. Missing has gone for Mikhail's Crucible, by the way, worth noting. Helps onto the Lilia Sleep. You have the Cleanse on Missing. You have the Mikhail's. Much harder to get good value out of that Lilia Sleep now. Does mean they lack a Locket or something like that for team-wide damage reduction. Mitigation, I suppose. Good damage there from the Shy. That goes through the Celestial Opposition. Long cooldown on that. Shy, what's he go for last? Maybe go towards the Edge of Night last, potentially? Could go for the Opportunity, I suppose, but typically that's better as a first item. Good damage there, again. Goes right the way through Pays' shield. Takes about a third of his HP. The Shy can carry this game. Now, the problem is, the Shy in late game has not been carrying. He's been inting a little bit. But he is 3,000 gold up. Big game here versus JDG. IG, and we're not really sure where they slot into our top teams. With the Celestial Opposition cooldown removed. IG grouping up. This time, everyone on the same side of the map. Not pushing the sidelines. A little bit afraid of snap plays. Ooh, does that hit? It doesn't quite, because Arla has to flash out. They engage. Anyway, no flash now on Arla. There's a hook onto the Jace. Is that onto the Rise, rather? Is that going to be enough? Doesn't feel like the damage is here just yet. And the bullet time is massive on the return. JJ completely taken down. Chaos Storm comes through, but the Varus ultimate has already done its damage. Where's the next cooldown? Where's the next arrow? Where's the next Shock Blast? Pays has a lot of damage, and he flashes over the engage. This Misfortune is absolutely bounty hunting. Triple kill for the Jace. Not enough to see things off, and I think Pays might have just won the team fight for them themselves. This Misfortune with the red buff doing so much work. I don't think it's going to be enough to turn it around. Gala, why did you stand up and fight? He flashes and dies. Quadra kill for Pays. Pays, on the misfortune, the pick, which has been so maligned in the LPL, has absolutely commanded this game. But what has Gala done in this late game? 3.5k down against that misfortune now. Despite the macro outplays in the early and mid game from IG, JDG in an even game now with a hyper-fed AD carry, and IG, they fumble the team fight. Pays a wonderful play in that team fight there to clean up the play, the flash over the skill shots. And running them down with that strut active, so crucial. Oh, IG in the late game. It has been torrid time for them. You know, Arla flashes out immediately. Dark depressing that... oh, the Shy gets knocked out by the Dark Procession. That cage is insane, by the way. It blocks off the entire terrain there. JJ completely CC'd. I mean, JJ didn't get a chance to do anything. This is why the Zhonya's is so important onto the Lilia and how to use it well. JJ, I do think, has been the best player on IG throughout their recent history, but it's just not been enough to get a lot of value there. Also, of course, the Yorick balls there. Really nasty for Rookie to try and bounce things, get that Q onto the bounce targets. Not able to do that much there. Triple kill for Jace. Not enough to clean up the fight. Pays runs it down. But why is Gala walking up like this, man? Really overestimates his damage. Gets the double up onto him anyway. Just horrible positioning from Gala. Horrible positioning from Gala. Dragon up in 20 seconds. Good damage there from IG, from the poke. Of course, it doesn't matter onto Pays. He's so ridiculously fed. Has a full build now. 4,000 gold ahead of Gala. Entire item slot up on him. Baron available, Dragon available. IG can kind of split the map a little bit. Choose to go towards the Baron. Yorick can finish this on the other side. We'll see what Rookie wants to do. Does he walk up towards the Dragon and check it? No, he's pushing out the bot lane instead. Baron peeled off of. Nigel's just choosing to give up a Dragon for free? That doesn't feel like it's a great idea. They don't even force a teleport out of Arla. Maybe afraid of missing going forwards for a big engage. Rookie pushes up a wave, and now they're teleporting in. After the Dragon's down. Maybe they wanted to do that after the wave had hit the tower. Yorick's now teleporting in, but now you've traded Global for Global. That's not really what IG want either. You still have Sejuani. The Shy has himself the Edge of Night. That'll help a little bit. Good Shock Blast there as well. The Shy needs to get good poke down. Mako has himself a Hex Flash. What does he go towards over here? Goes back into the pit. Is spotted though. Good. I mean, Scout has a huge combo ready. Rookie, big shields. Is it enough? Baron goes down. Great damage coming through from the Rise, but is it going to be enough? Scout and Pays use a lot of their combo, and that is a Magnet Storm, which might just win them the fight. JDG having been engaged onto successfully this time. Clean fight, clean Baron from IG. Maybe the macro was something we question, but JDG have 4 hit the ground. And JDG misused the bullet time, misused the Chaos Storm, and IG might just teleport to the end where they prepare a wave. They'll be walking towards the bot lane in a turret. Mako, massive combination in the Baron fight with the Magnet Storm. JDG walk up to a fight, and this time they can't win it. The bullet time was not enough. It doesn't matter how fed Pays is. The bullet time doesn't get the value. The Zhonya's from Rookie across the entire game, so important. The Ignite goes down, trying to take a kill back onto Gala. It's not quite enough. And JDG, with 10 seconds left, 15 on their other people, will not be able to do anything but watch as IG take the first Nexus of the series. Back and forth. IG take the game off of JDG. Is JDG has zero tank at all. And if you're using the Neferi to go into the Poppy W in teamfight, Sylas 2, what happens if the Equalizer stuns you in place? What happens if Azir manages to wall you off from it? I think IG have a lot of good counters here. Now, I do think bot lane is lane dominant from Pays and missing. I don't think it fits the composition, but I think it gives Aki a position, not Aki, Shun a position to play the Neferi off of. Scout needs to do an awful lot of work on this Sylas. I think if you need an X factor from the Sylas. You need big Poppy ultimates. You need big Azir ults. It's hard to do that into a Poppy. I think IG walk away with a... Wait, are we flexing things around? It's going to be the... Hang on, is this going to be Pantheon support with the Poppy jungle? Wait, that changes things. And that does change things. I think Poppy's better into this top side. There's triple dash champions for that Poppy to work around. Let's hear those gyros. They're going to be loud. You ready for the Elden Ring character to scream? Curse you, Bale! Can't convince me it's not the same guy. One of the best set of lungs here in our LPL fan bases. JDG's draft is garbage. I think, I think it is, I think JDG's draft is much more about trying to give a platform to the Neferi. We need to see Payson missing, do a lot in bot lane laning phase, same with Scout early on, to give something over to Shun. Ward's being placed down as the enemy jungle, IG not choosing to play around that. Not choosing to just fan out or combat the engage coming through. I suppose level 1 engage from Sylas E, followed up by Nico, Ashe, root and slow. Scary. Well, it might not be the root from the Ashe, but not the Ashe, the Nico, but still. Kind of scary. I should have seen this Pantheon switch coming through. I should have seen that. They flex it around. Now, make a likely... You can start with a Q if you don't want to go for an all-in, but... Can start with that W for the very powerful all-in, but then you're stuck in the play, and against the Ashe, that's power... Ooh, misses the empowered Q. Mako, he can't do that. Gotta use that first one so well. He lands. Lethal tempo, though. Stacked up from Rookie. Yeah, you don't want to be going into a lethal tempo. Nice from Rookie there. Worth noting, of course, that the soldiers do apply your on-hits effects at 50% value in Summoner's Rift. Very fun arena builds for Azir. He applies on-hits at 100% in that mode. So you can go Blade of the Ruin King Azir. Gala and Mako are going to lose that push to level 2. They lose a little bit of XP as... How many extra minions going to die? A ranged minion and a melee minion. Yeah, that's not nice. Mako missing that empowered skill Q earlier. Loses them a lot of damage early on. Just looking to pick up as much farm and XP as possible. The Nico, very nasty at that laning phase. Of course, the Poppy doesn't really do that much versus the bot lane, so it's better to get them into the jungle there. Just mean you lose the Pantheon for you know, I think scales a lot better in the jungle than the Poppy. Shouldn't walk into this bot side. This is why the Nico was picked alongside the Ashe. They wanted lane dominance. Shun. Ooh, remember this level... Hang on a second. W comes through. No ignite. This is a problem. Jeja is going to get out-fought there. And Shun, I believe he actually got the smite down too. Jeja not expecting this. This is why JDG drafted this bot side. Mako now, what's he doing? Does he have W? Does he have E? He's used his empowered ability from the looks of it. So Mako and Gala are trying to fight for a bit of prio and instead just lose the bot lane. Why did they pick this bot lane if they couldn't play around the early pressure? This is what they meant to do. This is exactly what this combo was meant to combat, and they're failing to do so. The Nico using that clone to go into the bush, which means that there's no E or W. Shun, I mean, does he want to jump forward onto Mako? That's a lot of damage from the double Q, actually. Jeja jumping out. There's no ignite, but Shun just gets to bully them out. And this is exactly what JDG's win condition is. Bully through mid and bot lane hard enough that we can go in for early jungle invades. So our bot and mid lane giving pressure for Shun to jump in. Mako messes up the laning phase by missing that first Q and then not managing to find an all-in. Getting jumped on as they go into their own bot jungle. And IG, I think they've really disrespected this early lane priority from JDG. Jeja not going to be in a good spot now for the early game. Now, I still think JDG, in a harder composition to play later, Shun does have the smite, might be able to go towards that. Wanted that still. Jeja has now got double buffs. Teleports around the map. Ashe going top side. Gwen going down towards bot side to make sure they don't lose the that wave. Ashe now going to be on top side now to push in and maybe fight around the top scuttle. Although Jeja using the minion taxi on the E. What's the plan there? Do you have to give up double scuttle? I think you have to because Scout has got full HP. Rookie doesn't. Ashe on top side. See JDG playing around the lane assignments well here. Arla needs to be careful though. Empowered W. Gala jumps over for the Valkyrie damage. Only the level 2 though. I mean, Mako, buddy. Can't be missing them. Arla forced off the tower. Still picking up the wave though. They don't get to kill him under turret. I mean, I say that. Actually, the dog is coming down towards bot side. I think that they think that Shun is going to be top side. He's going bot side instead. Sylas is coming down as well. They don't have vision on this. I mean, yes, there's going to be wards coming down. What does Shun do? Jumps over the wall, lands the double Q. The E late from Mako. Does get the movement speed out from there. Shun will be able to chase down. Uses the W. Scout's going to come down too. Gala's just going to die. Massive misreads on the map. IG missed the invade in bot side. Missed the dog coming down from top side to bot side instead of going for the double scuttle. JDG much better in their lane assignment and playing across the map. The Hawkshot goes into their own jungle to show that Jeja isn't even going for an invade because he doesn't know what's happening on the map. IG, they are being ran around the map with superior early game vision control and lane assignment from Jingdong Gaming. Very smart from JDG. It's a hard composition to play. But they do pick in that Ash Nico to say, look, oh my god, it's Ash Nico, the famous musician. Damn. This is just a massive misread. They have no wards going across their jungle, their bot side jungle to see that Shun was coming down here. They think that Shun is going for the double scuttle. That's not the case. He goes down bot side, and it's really important. You know, Ala gets to pick up the wave. Gala dies. He doesn't blow any summoners at least, but... Now, Scout gets the kill there too. Onto a Dark Seal, so 2 stacks there. It's an extra 8 AP ahead. Mako has been awful on this Pantheon. He's been very poor on it. Finally hits an empowered Q. And Mako on the Pantheon has really not achieved what they need to. Gala stacking up that Conqueror, flashing forwards, is not the empowered one. Pays goes back, and now you're slow for forever. Another Q comes up from missing. Oh, the false bomb doesn't hit. Gala cleanses out. Mako doesn't have enough. And the Pantheon goes down. This Pantheon support has not been what Invictus Gaming needed. Mako has, sadly, failed to achieve anything with the Pantheon switching the Poppy into the jungle. Gala's gonna get jumped onto now. Shun does have flash. Q lands. Dog's gonna do a lot of damage and they kill Gala. Didn't even flash. Gala, my dude, so disrespectful. The Varus last game as well, really not in the right positioning. Gala had a good first couple of series up in the placement stage and then going up towards the group ascend as well, but fallen off recently. Again, saw a trade in the mid lane in the picture-in-picture. I guess, yeah. Bit of a heavy trade. IG massively misread the early game. They massively misread it. And now they're behind in all roles. 1.5k down and 8 minutes in. IG, I think, have a much better composition if they make it through to mid and late game. I just don't think they will. JDG clearly picked the lane priority so they could allow Shun to bully out the matchup. But you can't pick this Pantheon support and play like this on it. He's level 4. I mean, I guess Missing's level 4 too. But, like, he's achieved so little on this. Gala down 2 kills. 0-3-0 between the two of them. JJ's not been able to interact with any lane. Big mistakes from Invictus Gaming as JDG have a clearly better understanding of the early game. There is going to be a top side dive. And this time, maybe it will be a bit more important. However, the exhaust comes through. Aggro's reset. And Ala clears out the wave. JJ gets hit by an arrow, and it will go clean between the eyes. Ala will accept the gift from his AD carry. Pays looking like he's from my hometown in Nottingham. A real Robin Hood. Dragon attacked on the other side as well by Shun. Takes that. Oh, it's such a better game from JDG. Much better understanding of the early game. Much better. The exhaust and the W from Ala getting so much work done. This is a horror show for IG. Clearly not understanding the early game. Clearly. Oh, not the permanent Gatling gun. Turn it off! Thank you. We can hear there's a permanent Gatling gun. Thank you, observers. Exhaust came through onto Mako, actually, for his empowered damage, which is quite a lot in the early game. Arrow flies all the way across the map. Does go over a ward, by the way. They do spot this. And it hits him anyway. I guess no one had eyes on that. They had 2 wards that flew over. That wasn't a blind arrow. It wasn't, you know, blind onto IG. They should have seen that coming. Jetta had flash. Dies anyway. It's a poor early game from IG. Can they claw their way back from this? I mean, yes, I suppose so. You do have good damage. But you're behind Grubs. You're behind a dragon. Behind so much gold. Your Corki and your Pantheon aren't going to be useful. You're basically playing in a 3v5 now. They're not useful champions. Not at this point. Not when they're behind this amount of map pressure, this amount of gold. This early into the game. IG, I thought they were the kind of team which would, you know, so in split 1, first game of the day, they'd kind of need to wake up. Beyond that point, felt like they played better after they'd woken up. Guess not the case here. Rookie gets his first item, Leandri. He's a bit more HP to play with. Scout can actually side lane now. That's scary for IG. One of the bigger ways that they won that last game was JDG not being able to... Yeah. Not be able to side lane. So, Grub spawning again now. Alan, no teleport. Rookie's able to spot the recall. Yes, he is. Nice disco soundtrack. Walking into a bush again, and it's a big Poppy ultimate. Gala flashes over it. Good route, though, from Payson. There's a teleport from behind from Scout. Scout, oh, he's about to end some lives here. There's an equalizer, and it might be divided by 0. Goes for the flash. Didn't really need it. 2 kills quickly. Hound's Pursuit. Oh, and an equalizer over the top. JJ. Not really being able to impact this game at all, besides the negative. Gala, Rookie does slide out. Shane's just about the way. Escape from IG. Not really tracking where the vision is and who can respond to the play. JDG much quicker on the response. Great set of play. 6-0 in terms of the kills. IG has nothing on the board right now. No grubs, no towers, no kills. Completely locked out. Completely locked out. We searched like IG to somehow get perfect game, wouldn't it? Beat top esports into, you know, losing a couple of series into getting perfect gamed. Feats of strength earned by JDG get themselves that 3rd objective on top of the 3 kills. JJ going behind bot side. Scout can just steal the Poppy ultimate, by the way. In fact, I think that's the answer. Pantheon coming down. Scout's gonna die. No perfect game for them. IG gets something. Finally gets something. But it's been way too late. IG behind a huge amount of gold. 1,000 gold in AD carry. 1,000 gold in jungle. I suppose Scout dropping a lot of farm is something that IG are actually pretty good at playing around. It's not like JDG have the best answers into Azir. No, they don't have, you know, just... It has to be like a flash pop blossom onto Azir as he's starting to try and auto-attack. Even then, Rookie can sometimes shuffle them out too. I wonder whether we have to put our faith into Rookie and the Shy to do something miraculous. Good enough equalizer when people dive in. Good enough shuffle into the equalizer. Maybe that works too. Maybe Poppy can help them. But you're playing without a bot lane here. You're playing with a bot lane. That is, you know, 0 and 5 between the both of them. Gala and Mako, very poor showing from them. Mako, of course, got the... Did he get the MVP from that first game? No, it was the Shy. It was the Shy. Okay, well, doesn't even have that to fall back on. Pays does have an arrow. Is on vision, though. Hiding between the both of them. Chooses not to pull that ultimate. Gala had no flash, but... Herald spotting in 2 minutes. 6 grubs to JDG. While also JDG are a very good side laning team. It's rough, isn't it? Especially with the Ashe arrow and the Silas side ability to follow up is so nasty. I just got back. What am I seeing in draft? You're seeing a bot lane go 0 and 5 after switching the Pantheon into the jungle so they could have Pantheon support. It was, yeah. It was a draft of all time there, Omni. Draft of all time. Shy. Quiet game so far. Not really been called. He's not really been called upon to do that much. I suppose that's not that bad. Hang on, Rookie needs to be a little bit careful here. Ashe could fire an arrow up towards the river. Is he going to be able to spot it? No, he has flash. Chooses not to use it. He's on the weak side of the map. His members are reset. Rookie, you have to be more careful. Good play from JDG, but that's over vision again. You know they're not in mid lane. You have a ward on the top side of the map. You should know that this kind of play is coming. Their ward coverage was not good enough to spot out JDG actually moving. Rookie goes down, and he's such an important member here for IG. Because he's the person with the, you know, significant gold lead, but with dying like that, gets Arla back into the game. Now the Shy is going to be behind his individual matchup, loses then their first tower of the game. IG, just their heads are not on this game. Dragon goes over to them. Good play from Payson missing to walk up the river and get a play like that. But IG are giving so much for free. Disappointed dad time, I suppose, or uncle. I don't know. Disappointed authority figure within their lives. I'm not even an authority figure. Anyway, they probably don't even know I exist. That's okay, though. It's always very flattering when people actually do recognize you exist. There's some people that knew me because I had, you know, the nice hair as... I had the nice hair as the LPL broadcaster. But hey. $1,000 gold ahead for this Ashe. Rookie should have been so much more safe there. Oh. I don't get it, folks. I don't get it. Missing having a much better game on the Nico this time than the Nautilus of that last game. Struggled with that. JJ has to get... He's getting forced down this deep in his jungle. That's rough. Herald is alive. But what are IG buying time for? Second item? Second item for Corki Azir Rumble? It's pretty big for them, I suppose. I think 2 items is where this comp is probably at its best. The late arrow onto JJ. Is it going to be enough? He does have some CC. Tenacity, rather. And he lives. Okay. Kind of an important survival there. Means that those ultimates are down. Can IG get themselves a breath of fresh air with this now? Mako on the bot side. Ala has exhaust. The Shy missing some of those harpoons. Tier 2 base Mako, of course, a little hard to land them. IG are giving up a lot here. Do they have faith in scaling? They do scale pretty well. They do. I think that the solo laners particularly have a pretty good time with this. You know, normally Gwen, someone that you consider to be a very large scaler, but they're also they're a triple melee topside, which can be very hard to dive into and get value out of. JJ spotting missing come down. Hexgate's coming over. Mega flying over. What's the plan now? They get the wall stun and the equalizer at the top, but that's going to be denied by the W. Flash in for the W, and they do get the kill onto Arla. Big moment. IG choosing to let go of a lot of objectives to try and stay safely in lanes and get gold. That could be what they're looking for. IG taking that earlier dragon might be really helpful them, folks. Now, if IG can stop the next dragon, I think IG see an angle. Because right now the angle is, we get to 2 items and maybe we can fight. The early game was a burning dumpster fire. We want to slow things down, get to 2 items, and hope we can play around Equalizer being very long range and Azir and Corki being very long range. JDG, they have 3 carries on top side, all of which are melee range. The Ashe is the only longer range carry. The problem is IG are playing without a support, and their AD carry is non-functional right now. Can they buy enough time to come back online? JDG, of course, one of our top teams, only lost to FPX, weirdly, actually. Beat BLG. Did they beat anyone's Legend? They beat Weibo, I remember that one. Anyway, they beat a couple of teams, haven't they? JJ, gotta be careful there. No flash this time, use it on bot side. Hexgate's coming through. Can Rookie get himself a play? No, he just sees his jungler go down. Reset comes in for Shin's ultimate. Scout gets another kill. Gets some of those Dark Seal stacks that he lost earlier. JJ dies to a red buff invade. JDG still very strong for this point. IG need to shut up shop a little bit and make sure these plays don't come in for free. 2 items for Rookie. He's ready to fight, actually. Rookie is. 2 items. He's strong right now. You can see how dangerous it is walking into areas of fog of war. JJ is not particularly tanky. He has the Sundered Sky. Does give him a bit of tank, but not that tanky. I think if they had a... if they had a Sejuani, if they had a Skarner, they're much happier in this game. See right here, you know, he's close enough to Mako. W stops the Silence actually flying in, but the CC already lands, right? Nothing JJ can do at this point. Goes down easily. Dragon in 20 seconds now. Shun Spotter going over here. There's an equalizer, and there's also a Nico ult. Mako has to flash out. I don't really know there's much there to do now. Goes down as well. Tower Shot actually goes onto the Gwen, though. That means that a kill goes back. I suppose trading your support for the top laner there's pretty fine. While all this is happening, Rookie's pushing that top side. JJ is up there too. I mean, IG, are they looking to stop the dragon? Macedonian Warfare potential here. Scout can look to disengage under here, and it's a massive play in there. Macedonian Warfare and an arrow under the turret. The push of Phalanx getting itself some value. JJ not able to finish him off. Rookie will kill the tower, though. So they get what they came for there. Scout, he has no... well, he has a flash. I don't think it's going to save him. Scout, clean play under the turret, but all it does is delay the inevitable. JDG choose not to go towards that dragon, instead pushing mid lane with the 6 grubs instead. The Shy will be over here to get some wave clear. Pantheon is here. I'm not convinced by Maker's Pantheon, folks. Maybe not the play. Shun sees 2 low health members, but there is one of them with the ability to stop dashes. JJ will smite that. JDG not going towards the dragon very quickly. If Garl can get himself a reset, get himself towards 2 items now for the Muramana, maybe that's something they can play around. Herald Sub put in towards mid lane. Tower's going to go down. IG likely we're going to lose that to the Herald anyway. Corki doesn't get the 2 items. That's a problem. What happened here? He forces the flash out of Gala. That's what happened. That's why he was low HP. That's a shame, though. Gala picking up the kill into Scout, not able to put him towards that 2 items. 1,000 gold behind, as we said, onto Pays. Top tower taken by Rookie, so he's got some extra gold in pocket again. 1,000 gold up on the Azir. Can he do enough? Hard to tell, really. Shun goes towards the dragon. IG realize, okay, we just can't. We don't have the position here. There's no point throwing ourselves at this. Sundered Sky instead of Magic Resist for the Poppy. You need Sundered Sky on the Poppy, I think. It means your Buckler is actually very good as an individual first hit of damage. It means your burst is very good while giving you that good kind of... Because you got the ranged auto attack. Still, hang on a second. Mako flies over the wall. Mako, my dude. Does block out with that. Poppy ult's going to come through. Charged up and misses. Mako, stop giving up these kills for free. That Hexagate is so unnecessary. IG might be able to scale into this game, but not with Mako throwing his life away so readily like this. Very dangerous to give this amount of gold and pressure over. You don't have that sweeper on the map now. You don't have that ward control from the Pantheon over. Tries to sneak a ward in maybe to the enemy side of the jungle by doing that. But giving over free gold like that is just not good. Last game, I think that Mako kind of diffed missing, but it's his time to kind of have a bit of an awkward moment now. Atacon started up. This is that GA version. Would go into the dragon, then to the Baron spawn. JDG could come over for a steal. Doesn't have the ultimate now, though, which is a problem. Missing, potentially looking for just the zoning out. Remember, this is where JDG kind of got a bit of a throw last time. Smite comes through. Equalizer slows them down so they can't turn off of it. Scout finds Rookie. Can't get much after that. The arrow swing and a miss. So JDG, get the Atacon, but they don't get anything afterwards. That Equalizer actually quite pivotal there from the Shite. Slows down JDG from their turn off of the Atacon. Gold lead. 3,000 or so for JDG. AD carry and jungle, still the roles which hold the most of that. Shy's not in a bad spot, you know. I think with the blood letters as well, being able to shred magic resist off of one target. Rookie might be able to combo up with the Shy to get some good double magic damage plays. JDG going towards what looks like a dead man's next, actually. So choosing not to go towards magic resist and instead trying to have something against the Neferi and the Ash. I suppose there's a lot of mixed damage, and the dead man's is better for your own personal damage, is the thing. Ooh, Scout going for a big play. Misses the arrow, though. Rookie could choose to get the arrow back, and does. This is the Atacon play. Remember, they have those GAs. One withdrawal comes through. Mako uses the E in the wrong direction, but will luckily live. And JDG don't get themselves the play they were looking for. Scout goes back to base without withdrawal. So it's 200 gold and a bit of XP over. Fail play from JDG. Rookie's flash blown, importantly. That flash, very important. Rookie's such an important part of IG, and their scaling damage. Also, blowing that Seek is important, missing. Seeing a teleport come in towards him. Rookie teleporting up to get the farm down. He needs as much gold as possible to get towards that Zhonya's ASAP. Really needs that in this game to survive out on the Neferi if things go wrong. The Shy has Oblivion Orb too. Definitely helpful against a lot of this team. Of course, Ash gets is going towards blood, maybe a Bloodthirster. Silas is a thing. Neferi is a thing. Gwen is a thing. Yeah, good anti-heal item here. I think you just stick it. I mean, it doesn't even matter, actually, if you go towards the full Morello, I don't think. Hang on, Mako in a bit of trouble. JDG also in a bit of trouble. Ominar as to who they're going towards. Shun hops over the wall. JDG caught out by a root and doesn't get that wall stun teleport behind them now. Do they see it? No. Arla comes into the backline. Rookie has his turret. I just don't think it's going to be enough. Gets that damage under the tower, but I don't know how much it's going to do. Rookie is somehow still alive, but he goes down eventually. The Shy keeps going forwards. But IG have lost their mid laner. JDG
will happily take that one. Arla goes forward for that last needlework. I think Rookie gets a lot more done there than JDG were maybe prepared for. JJ somehow making himself a lot more tanky in that play than I expected too. Baron is available. Dragon coming up in a minute. Pays, very strong. Wallstar misses onto missing. Scout finds his way onto Gala, who has been so invisible this game. Equalizer stolen by Scout to make the equation 0. Baron will be started up by JDG now. Mako back onto the map, but he has contributed so little to this game. JDG roll over an incredible early game. I don't know what, I mean, he's trying to look for kills. Jumps in, doesn't have that empowered Q, and gifts over another kill. Mako, one of his worst games in recent memory. 1 and 5, very much struggling to make ends meet. JDG pull very far ahead in this game. Starts with failed wallstone onto Shun, who presses W to avoid it. Much better game from him this time around. But he has really benefited from his mid and bot lane, giving him that early advantage. Rookie, great play under the turret. Remember that the turret actually applies the Leandries now as well. Very close to outplaying there. I think the equalizer from the Shy maybe should have even flashed for the equalizer for people under that turret, because the bloodletters would start to apply onto that first target hit. It's a bit random with that one. Doesn't apply to everyone hit with it, sadly. Oh, it's not even like the worst thing ever. Gala, I don't know, man. Just flash out of the chain, save your Valkyrie. Gala's had a bad game. Gala's had a very bad game. He also over that top side. I think Gala just wins the 1v1 now. Look, I think actually the Shy's had a pretty okay game. It's just not been a map you can stabilize. He's 1 and 3 and 2, but it's not his fault. This time you have to look towards the bot line of IG. It has been very, very problematic how far they fell behind so early, after using draft resources to give themselves what was meant to be a better jungle matchup and a better bot lane matchup. Play very poorly at level 1 and level 2, and Gala gets nailed by the ultimate. Luckily, no follow-up. Gala playing with fire a little bit there. Rookie trying to wave clear for all his worth. Now he's down almost 1,000 gold. Feels like a lot of our Silas players, Dermby and Scout, happy to drop some gold just to make plays. Dragon is up and available. Would be soul point for JDG. They're not even going towards that right now. Rather use the last of their Baron buff to keep pushing an IG further and further into their own base. How far behind is Gala, man? Missing up by 3,000 gold. He's 409. Missing's Nico has been absolutely pivotal this game. Slaughtered the laning phase. Great plays throughout. I think he's in with a shout for player of the game. Nico incredibly valuable. The bot lane of JDG smurfing on IG this game. He's almost a damage carry himself. He's got that Protobalt. This rally is good AG. Oh, and the Protobalt is used right there. Good damage onto the back lane. Might die for it. Actually, no, he lives. Corky goes. Let's be honest, he wasn't really doing that much anyway. Arla maybe burned down in return, but no, even he can't get traded back onto. IG don't have the stats, they don't have the gold, and they basically don't have a bot lane. Just before 30 minutes in, IG with the 6 grubs will hammer down on these turrets, and I don't think there's much more to be said about this one. Pace has the cleanse, can't even go towards him. JDG continue to roll forward. Yes, they lose the Nico, but it's going to be such a consolation prize for IG. The game is JDG's, and we'll go to a 6-game day, game 3 in the series. Ornn, if you survive early game, is very, very good. The Shy played into a Scion earlier this week and went Grasper and Acton, which I can only assume was a mistaken set of runes. He looked awful in that game. IG, very early game. JDG, much more mid and late game. They have a single carry in the Zeri. IG, they want to take out that Zeri as quickly and effectively as possible. Scout will do a bit of damage. We'll see what build he goes towards, whether that is something like the Leandries and the Riftmaker. It's probably Roa Riftmaker, actually. It's typically what we see on the Galio. So, JDG, protect the pays. IG, all-out aggression from the start of the game. Let's see how much gold they can get. The onslaught in game 2. IG looking to turn the tables and win through early game. Let's go. One last gyro for the day. That man has a set of lungs on him, doesn't he? Every time JDG play in the home arena, that guy turns up, and I'd follow that man into battle. I'd follow them. There's something very special about being in an LPL crowd, and they're there to support their teams. I was out there in 2023 Summit. Scout. Got a Q at the early level. Early for the first timestamp. Doesn't bad. JDG on a carry jungle. Goes to the lethal tempo. So of course you can't really stack grasp while you're in the jungle. Sometimes you do it just for the healing. Shy puts down a ward. We'll spot Shun on that top side of the map. Shun, of course, a notable Shinzo player. And has always played that secret agent skin. Loves that one. Gala and Maker. Alistair Rakan. Not Alistair Rakan. Kaiser Rakan. Alistair. Not bad in the laning phase, but Rakan is nasty in lane. Very nasty in lane. Rookie. Going for the electrocute start. Walks into melee range of Scout, so we can get smashed onto him. Okay, that's decision of all time. We have seen some airy Ahri, actually, for lanes like this. We did just keep trading with that melee range. In fact, I really like that into the galley. It makes it very hard for him to survive. You can go towards stuff like Blackfire Ahri as well to keep burning. Don't think you, please just don't go for the Roa Ahri build this game. You need damage. If you go Roa, you're not going to deal damage. You need your ult to be off cooldown when the Owen ult is on. Rookie needs to be pushing the advantage early. I want to see Malignance. I want to see him accelerate. Rookie, one of the best Ahri players in the world. But also, recently, he's had a bit of an obsession with this Roa build, and it has left him with a lot of lacking damage in some key games on Orianna, on Ahri, on others. Scout getting traded on too heavily there. Ooh, true damage comes through. Of course, not reduced by the... Oh, two-man headbutt. The passive pop by Gala there, actually. Nasty stuff onto missing. Good damage. Once you get through to your next... Once you get through to your combos for Alistair, you do get that double plasma stacking onto that one target for the headbutt, then the pulverize. Nasty damage coming through from the Kaiser afterwards. Pays, of course, very good on Zeri. Once again, look at that. You get that passive coming through. Has to blow the exhaust from missing. Afraid of the damage coming through from Gala. However, that does buy them a lot of HP bonus. Hayes has himself a cookie as well, which will be ticking now. IG. They need to be pressing the advantage early. Level 3 hit. Oh, denied the cannon. That's what Mako was doing there. Says, yeah, I can tank a W. That'll be fine. On the top side, the Shy has gone for the Conqueror in this time instead of the Grasp. Which I believe he just mistaken. Oh, good play there again. Gala uses the barrier this time. Goes forwards and gets that passive down to onto Pays. Uses his cleanse. Still takes the full value, though, from the Ignite. Oh, JDG's here. Not sure about that one. Maybe Mako second-guessing things. Use the headbutt, not the pulverize. JDG now out of sorts. They know he's there. Shun misses that W. JDG, he's not spotted. There are pings coming through. Where the heck is this Jax? Has that counter-strike. Comes out there. Does he have counter-strike? Pulls it up now. Shun waiting for his 3 Talon Strike. Goes through there now, but he's ran out of it. Flashes for that knock-up, which the Jax is meant to avoid. But this is why we picked the... Hang on, Scout can still flash forward. Can he flash E? He's not in range just yet. Counter-strike. Not up just yet. He's another leap strike as well. He does. JDG gets out. Still, big loss, I think, for JDG. He's not... Yeah, well, I say that. Yes, no, he didn't lose the flash. No, that's fine. Shun's the one that loses the flash. That's okay. Rookie doesn't have the charm to immediately cancel all that out. One of the bigger things about Ahri versus Galio is you want to try to cancel out that E as it goes towards you. Rookie, first item back, first back Dark Seal, has the Mana Crystal as well. Might be going towards the Catalyst, which I don't want to see. I think Malignance Leandri is very, very good this game. You're not the main target. You can escape the engage. You don't need the Roa for the HP. To shot, hang on a second. It's going to be a flash for the auto attack. Hang on, Ala could kill here. Flash for flash. Close. Ala runs out of mana. Double combo again. Mako's been getting so many of these. His most played champion of all time, by the way. Mako recently hit 1,000 games within the LPL. Only player to do that regionally besides Faker in the LCK, who also just hit 1,000 games this year. Both of them playing so many games over such a long tenure. And Rookie is building the row again. This is a mistake, this game. I'll call it out. It is a mistake. He has an obsession with this build. He needs damage. He needs damage. You can survive the engage. You just need your ult off cooldown. The only thing that, like, directly kills you is missing, you know, flash ulting into you. And even then, I feel like as long as you're separated from Gala, you're fine there. I just don't think that Roa gives you the threat you need. With your Roa build, I know that you go towards Leandries and you go towards Riftmaker. It gives you damage against anti-tank. Go Leandries anyway. It's fine. You want to be accelerating this game. IG, have an early game composition. That is their plan. Scale up. Do your worst in the early game. Is there any game where Roa is good? When there's so much damage on the rest of your team and people are focusing you, that you can get away with, well, you use that extra HP. What you want to do with Roa is dive into the backline, 1v2, potentially, scare the enemy carries, use your HP as a resource and get out. It must also be a game where you losing your ultimate defensively is not a loss condition, which has sometimes been the case. The Shy pops his ultimate. Uses that Dominus. Looking for that empowered Q in the next couple of seconds, but he might be dead before that happens. He gets the massive heal, and he gets the first blood. Good value out of that Dominus, but the rest of the team's not there to follow up. Mako not sure about that flash. It's a 2-for-1. The Shy does decent work there. Arla doesn't get the knocker. Hang on, JJ could get a big counter-strike in here. With the flash, potentially. Do they keep running it? Remember, there's a lethal tempo on this Jax. That can be a bit of an issue. Double stun. Rookie goes forwards. He doesn't have that much mana, though. JJ has flash. Can get out of here. Flash forward from Scout into the wall stun. Makes it a little bit more dangerous. Resets, though. Rookie shorts his ultimate. Mistake there. Maybe could have killed Scout, but I guess the Rakan Q heals him up enough. Ends up being, what? 2-for-1 still overall. First kills of the game. I have to feel like IG could have followed up on that play better. That first dominance of the game is so important. I do think that the Shy did well. He got through all of his empowered abilities, but there was no level 6 on Kai'Sa. JJ didn't get himself a big multi-man stun after that. Oh, flash forwards in the mid lane. Or flash backwards, rather, as the Shy walked towards him. It wasn't the Shy flashing forwards. Pei's missing a summoner now. Also, Mako, that random flash was not great. Shen takes 2 grubs on this top side. Hang on a second, doesn't have smite. Well, he doesn't now. That's why. Because the overlay is slightly ahead of our gameplay, folks. That's why I saw that smite go down. I was like, oh, he doesn't have it. Yes, he did. He's just used a little bit into the future. The Shy gets a really good set of empowered abilities. Gets the rage heal from that. Gets a good kill onto Shen. Look, again, he does well. He's basically in a 1v3/1v4. Mako flashes late, does nothing with that. I think you could have just left that comp. I think you could have left it to be a 1v1. I think it was completely fine for the Shy to trade 1-for-1 there, given that situation. I think it would have been much better if IG could have followed up quicker. Obviously not the case. All of that focus onto the Renekton means you're not focusing onto Kai'Sa, Ahri. Oh, God, it's Ahri with the Roa. This Roa is not going to help. Rookie is sacrificing damage. That is a mistake. It is a mistake. It's a big one. I'm going to have to call it out. He has the Dark Seal. He did okay mechanical work in that last play, but he didn't have that Lost Chapter. Or the extra AP. Not that it matters at that point. The Catalyst, now at this point it does, because the Catalyst compared to everything else, you know? Roa Ahri is a great top laner that you have to try. I've played top lane Ahri for many years. I prefer it with Lichbane. Lichbane Cosmic Drive is a very fun build. There's also some Blackfire builds as well, which are fun. Gala, jumping forwards. He does get tagged by that Q. A little bit of damage. Rookie getting a plate in this mid lane. The Shy, close towards his Black Cleaver. Empowered Q. Of course, less healing because of the Bramble Vest. Hang on a second. Arla maybe wants to trade ult for ult here. No, missed that last tick of the W, so it doesn't get the brittle mark. Has himself the empowered W. Good damage there. The Conqueror stacked up. Doesn't have the stun now for the ultimate. Hang on, the Shy might just die to a solo kill here, and Arla completely wipes the floor with the Shy. I think he completely underestimated the value of that Bramble Vest denying the healing. Rookie going forwards. Remember, he has the Catalyst. It's not that much damage to the equal. Okay, all right. The Electric Q will do enough. Rookie picks up 2 Dark Seal stacks. Arla still, though, getting that kill. 2 kills on the Ornn. That's a problem. Taking that fight before the Black Cleaver, the Shy, getting traded out very heavily against Ala, who wants to scale into this game. Big even in gold with trading 1-for-1. That's absolutely perfect for him. Oh, man. Oh, man. IG, they needed to get more out of this early game. They need to still. They're slightly ahead. Giving up the 2 grubs, though, giving up the dragon, that's not going to help them. They would have liked to get themselves an objective advantage. Often early game leads, what they often end up meaning is you get ahead in terms of objectives, too. Ori does have that 1 kill. Significant lead onto Scout, because he managed to get a play on this mid lane, and I believe he got a play on top lane, too. I mean, Renekton is going to struggle. There was a solo kill? Yes, there was. Ala solo killed the Shy just now. Good to see you, by the way, Scorpio. Good to see you before, but yeah. Hadn't directly said hello yet. JDG. Their job was to survive the early game. I think they're doing that. The Shy, does he have Demolish? No, he doesn't have Demolish. Sometimes you use that Demolish on the Renekton to just kind of like push up beyond the enemy top laner and you just kind of get plates for free. It's one of the best ways to win the game, actually, as a Renekton. Ala. Switching lanes with Scout. Scout is going towards... Huh, he's not going towards Roa first. Right, alright. Well, Scout's not going towards Roa. He's going towards Leandries first, alright. Okay, wants to go for the Doomby higher damage build. Well, at least one of these mid laners knows they want to do damage. Rookie's going to go for the charm onto the teleport landing, and Scout immediately presses E, so not the best timing there. Gala about to cash in that cull. Oh, he does have the cull and Pace doesn't. That's important. We haven't had the AD carries really come into the equation yet. First grub taken by JJ. Does have the smite. Same CS compared to Shinzao. If they can take this without a smite, that's kind of big, actually, because that means they will get towards the... They can smite fight for the 4th. Of course, Jack's going onto the grubs too, means he gets to stack up in terms of his attack speed from his passive. Stacking up the attack speed again. Alright. Gonna be 3-3 in terms of the grubs. No contest on the 3rd of this set. Gala, not there with his Q evolve yet, but still doing well in terms of his wave clear. Needs about 5 more waves to get himself his cold stacked in. So that'll be about 2.5 minutes until that's there. The Shy with Black Cleaver, but he's against a Sunfire and a Bramble Vest. Oh, that's a problem. That's a problem. This Renekton is meant to be dominating against the Ornn. If that's not something you can do, that's a problem. Gets the fully stacked Black Cleaver. Ala does have Flash. He still uses ult as well. Counter-Strike comes in. Meiko's roaming over. Shun's hit 2. Do they want to go for a bigger fight? There is a Dominus. Diving into that Dominus sounds a bit scary. Good damage back, actually. Ala and Shun. I think you mentioned it's trade okay there. But the Dominus, of course, makes it a little bit fake. Missing. Doesn't get the knockup. Meiko backsteps him. Who has the better draft? IG if they win early. JDG if they don't. I think. JDG only have a single carry, though. I mean, they have the carry and the Zeri. The Galio can do some damage, but he's not going to carry a team fight. Can do some damage. If IG kill the Zeri, the fight is over. The fight is over. Having said, missing is got an exhaust hands teleport behind them. Here comes Ahri. Oh, the Shy once again going in too early. This happened for the solo kill earlier, and it happened again now. Pace jumps over the wall. Rookie has to go through the cleanse now, which he goes through. But the Shy once again goes so early that they can't mount a fight. Pace blows the cleanse, Missing blows the exhaust, and the Shy pulls the trigger before Rookie can make a difference. This is the kind of play which loses you games of League of Legends. The idea is there, the execution was not. 2 times now, the Shy has gone too far early, and even in the river, he was too disconnected too. The Shy, you cannot be making plays like this when you must be so clean in an early game draft like this. You cannot make mistakes like that. Ala's now ahead in terms of gold. Your power spike on the Renekton is going to fall off soon. We expect better from a player like the Shy. He got an MVP for the game 1. His late game Jace was good. But we definitely know that the Shy's had his ups and downs. Ala, so strong now. when IG go for their next big combinations, you have to be very, very fearful that the Ornn just slams that ultimate home and you can't do anything about it. He can stand so much more threatening now that he's ahead of the game. He has the Merc Treads. He's gotten through that point where, you know, I guess Tabby is normally a good first buy versus someone like Renekton, but you really want those Merc Treads versus the entire rest of the team. Now he has armor item component as well, the Merc Treads. Arla's getting towards higher and higher amounts of XP, which of course very important for his own items, and then else as well. I mean, by the way, the Renekton's Galio's not bad in the 1v1 here. Gets the phase rush. Just looking to wave clear, really. Scout can recall, and he'd be fine with that. No one can really stop him from doing that. Dragon is up and available. So IG, do they have a fallback? God, do they have a fallback? I don't know if the AD Kaiser is what you want. JDG's got, of course, going towards the Jax, which is good into the Shinzo. I don't think the Jax is good into the Ornn and the Galio as a jungle pick. Typically, it's okay if you're doing that into top lane, so you can split push well against them. But if you dive in with a Q and a counter-strike into the backline, you know, Ornn presses W on you, CCs with the auto-attack after, Galio has the taunt, you have the 3 talent strike after that's run out, which normally you can trade for in a 1-for-1. I think JDG's gonna have a hard time. Tower may be traded for the Herald here, but of course in the top side, JDG already claimed themselves that first tower. Feats of Strength have been claimed by JDG due to this as well with that first tower. Just jump in and nuke Zeri with ult. Well, we'll see if that can be possible. JDG goes in, pops that ultimate now. Flash out of the combo from the Alistar. Rookie on the flank, and that might be a first kill. Galio's gone down and didn't get to use that ult. Triple ult stacks now from Rookie, and the charm lands onto Missing's Wakan. Rookie keeps going forwards, has a reset, and this is the kind of play which IG needed 5 minutes ago. 2 kills in quick succession. Does that open up anything else? Can they walk towards this mid lane turret? Yes, they can. This is what IG needed. Ornn, not available at the play. A lot of the gold nucleated into that top lane tank. Assassin, Warlock, Priest, Necromancer, everything really. Arla gets himself a turret, but the mid lane turret being open and the 2 kills on top of it, that is exactly what IG needed. Arla does have flash, does have ult, does have teleport. Does that mean he dies? No, there's no Ahri ultimate. Or he doesn't have something like a Leandri's yet to really threaten him. Why is Rook using Faker's Ahri skin? He wanted to, I'd imagine. He used to use the Foxfire Ahri, which Knight beat him on in a very important series-winning play last spring, and he stopped using it ever since. Knight beats him with the skin he'd used ever since 2014. Oh, the stun came through with the empowered Renekton W. He's still a kill coming through into JDG. Good charm there from Rookie. And the fight continued. Don't think I like him using it. Rookie and Faker are from the same class of mid laners. Rookie, of course, came up just a bit after Faker. You had like Rookie, Pawn, Dade, Faker, all coming up in that crazy era. In fact, it's one of the reasons why Ambition switched over to jungle. Was that he thought if he tried very, very hard, he might be able to keep up with those mid laners, but he could never be better than them. If he changed to jungle, maybe he could be the best, though. That class was too strong, though. Galio has ult, is on the same side of the map. I don't think IG expect this, by the way. Looking for a play. Jumping forwards, where's the Galio ultimate? Comes straight into it. Mako pops the ultimate. Where is the Renekton is coming in? But Arla is here. Now, Mako very, very low. That is a fantastic angle for an ultimate. Get a great flash over the wall, though. And now Arla is getting the Black Cleaver stacked onto him. It's not going to be enough, though. JDG trying to carry through with the Jax at the end of the fight, but I just don't think IG expected Scout to be there. Secret Agent Galio flies into the play, and JDG clean up the fight 3 for 2. They will take that, I think, all in all. IG invested a lot into that and come out slightly behind. JDG trading even or trading up slightly is a big win for them as they try to scale. So, I don't think they expected the Galio to be here. Missing actually gets stunned out of his W. Could have been even worse if that was the case. And then, of course, Arla comes in as well. Arla's huge ult here is insane. The Shy gets a good play. This is fine. Drops over Missing's second W there. But Missing still gets into the play and gets a massive, massive charm. You know, JDG manages to at least clean something up. Good play from him to get some kills on the board. Maybe the Jax getting a lot of gold can be a secondary carry for IG. 3-1. He's doing okay now. But honestly, the hero of that play is Scout. On the top side of the map, unseen. IG did not expect him to be there. Got a fantastic ult. JJ had a 5-man Jaxar, but he didn't go. I think he was afraid of the, huge clump up CC. I think they're a little bit panicked by everyone turning up. I don't think you wanted Jax to be in the middle of it at that point. He's not tanky enough really to do that. Even with the 5-man R with the huge man resist, don't get me wrong. It's a good point. I mean, look, Rookie has the Leandries now, so he'll be doing some damage. But what we really need to see is Rookie managing to force like an E or a cleanse out of Pays, using the extra HP from the Roar and Leandries to do so. Summer 2014 Rookie was crazy good. Yep, the team which coin flipped their way to the hardest title in League of Legends. 2014 OGN Summer. Beating Samsung Blue in the finals. What a series that was, by the way, if you ever missed that. Kakao's Noxen, one of the greatest of that too. Dragon spawning now. Well, IG don't have a gold lead, and there is some worries about scaling coming online from JDG. 3-0-3 on the Zeri, that's kind of scary. The Cull from Gala means that he's still ahead a little bit in terms of gold. The Kaiser, of course, has some huge late game carry potential, but I just think the Zeri in this kind of comp is so much protected and has disgusting ability to carry. Kakao is truly the one-split wonder of all time. Hey, he was pretty good in bits of 2015, so he made it to Worlds, of course. And his 2013 was still good, too. What time is late game? Depends what kind of... I would say late game is kind of like post... Well, it's normally when you get towards Soul, really. Normally, late game is 3-4 items. I'd say early game is maybe up until 1 and a bit items. Mid game is often 2 going on 3. And then late game is kind of beyond that point. Do I like the Ahri build? In this game, no. No, I don't. I think going Malignance and then going into Leandries would have given them a lot more early power to play around. Darkseal's good, that's fine. I was thinking there is a chance you could have gone towards an Ahri build to really dominate the Galleon lane. Because the Electrocute means a little less here. Atacon started up. Ward put down. I'll spot it here. Oh, there's a pick now in the river, but Mako not popping his ult until he's half HP. That's a problem. Mako has the flash, has to go anyway. It's hit by that W. Scout going forwards, trying to force something out of Gala, and it's charmed back into the blade. Things are a mess now. This is maybe where the Renekton can start getting value, but no, the Ornn ultimate is so nasty. W over the wall, Wind becomes lightning. The Shy getting chased down by Pays, and I think JDG might have just found a little bit of that scaling that we were worried about. JDG clean up 3 kills for none. I think IG flubbed their early game too hard. They don't have the power that they should have had through winning lanes and early snowball. JDG online. Oh, gotta wonder where it went wrong for IG. The Shy going too early on a handful of plays. Rookie going for a slow build in a game he couldn't afford to. JDG pick up 3 kills for none. They'll pick up the Atacon. There won't be a contest coming through. And I think IG have just lost this game. Mako late on the Pulverize, so can't cancel out that combo from missing. Pulls his ultimate very late, too. It's not a bad flash from Gala. And Rookie does okay onto Scout here. It's just not onto the carries. Scout is okay taking damage. It's not onto Pays. You know, there's no Jax going on top of the Zeri. There's no Ahri. Shun gets a great play there too. I think on the whole, I think JJ has actually been the better jungler than Shun, but I think that Shun has had the better team. JJ's Lilia earlier on was particularly exciting. I suppose Shun's Neferia was good. Actually, no, that's not true. I think the second game, I think that JJ was particularly quiet, but whatever. Not necessarily the key matchup I thought it might end up being. Much more about the bot lane, actually. I think that Mako versus Missing has been more important. Missing had a bad game 1. Mako's had a bad game 2 and 3. Zalister here is okay, I suppose, but not great. Gala. Even in gold, still. With Pays. Problem is, you do have a, 0 gold Renekton topside. Rookie, this is the problem with outgoing Malignance, is that sometimes you can be really quite scared to pull your ultimate. If you have Malignance there, you don't lose any health. You can just wait for your next cooldown very quickly. Baron spawned. JDG grouping up on this mid lane turret. They have the GA from Atacon, remember? Or not. Thorn, the Horn is blown. And they catch out Gala, but he doesn't get the secondary knockup. Galio comes right very deep into the turret. Mako has his ult running, but it's not enough. Unbreakable will. No, not really living up to the name. One kill, turret's down, and oh, wow, Pace is going very, very deep. Has himself the items to really feel like he can carry that. Maybe could have saved that cleanse, but wants to stay alive. Baron is alive. Do they just go towards that? They have enough to damage it. Do they have enough to tank it as well? Still want to use the last 30, 40 seconds of this. They don't have the best damage coming into this. JJ has flash, has smite. Teleport coming back in from the Ornn. Rookie has ultimate, saved it, remember. Scout has got himself a flank. He gets himself a double taunt. And the Scout scouts ahead and finds his team a kill onto Gala. And that should do it. That should be the Baron. No Kai'Sa for the continued DPS. The Ahri with a lower damage build. I don't think they've got the staying power. Charm onto the Ornn just doesn't mean that much. Just doesn't mean that much. Rookie, I just don't know if you can do enough here. You have a smite steal attempt. That is it. Atakan has one off. Some decent damage onto the Ornn there. Flash forwards onto the Shy. Has the Dominus. Are we going for a smite steal? Is this going to be the Baron flip? JDG, they're waiting a long time now. They're starting to tank this up. That could be an issue. Rookie goes in. Forces Jerry out of the pit. Does Baron is still alive? Where is the smite? It's stolen by Rookie of all people. Baron sail over to Invictus Gaming. The Shy goes forward to get a kill. Reset's coming forward as Rookie wants to do more damage. Triple kill for Pays means that he gets most of the gold, but IG get the Baron and JDG. Why, oh why did you flip it? Absolute scenes. If nothing else, Invictus Gaming never give you a boring game. Hands up who loves the LPL. You can't see it, but I got my hand up. You should too. You should do that. Rookie, 1,500 gold ahead. The only person with a Baron buff on the board now. Can maybe rotate around the map. Now, we actually have a point where maybe something weird can happen. JDG aren't going to get themselves a clean Baron into stall out. That being said, Pays is currently 9-0-5 on the Zeri. How the hell are you going to deal with this guy? He's got a shield bow. Oh, what a mess. IG, they don't like to do things by, they don't like to do things cleanly, do they? They lost their early game. Still only 1,000 gold down now, though. However, that 1,000 gold is largely on that pesky electric wrap. Dragon now started up. It's gonna go down. Rookie on the flank. Should going in, but doesn't go for a smite steal. Mako might just give his life for this. Has flash, has ultimate. Dragon taken. Rookie still has the Baron buff for another minute and a half. Where does he want to go? Does he want to go anywhere? Has that increased recall? Can recall and go into the mid lane. Open up another angle. Level 17. 2-level advantage over the Scout. One of those is from the Rod of Ages, of course. Has himself a Crypt Balloon going towards a Death Cap next. Maybe that changes things. Rookie going forwards. What do you think he wants to catch? Doesn't have the Malignance for lower cooldown. That's a bit of a problem. That being said, does have a lot of Ult Hunter stacks now. So his ult cooldown is a lot lower than it could be, plus the level 16. So what the hell happens here? They don't have the Shinzo ult. They tank the Baron for such a long time. They kill Gala. Pace has to dodge out on the Chomp. That's actually the big thing. He has to dodge out on the Chomp, which means he's not hit DPSing at the start. Scout misuses everything. What the hell happens here? Smite 1 HP and the Leandri's burn kills it. That is a 1 HP Leandri's Baron steal. I don't think I've ever quite seen something like that in my life. That is insane. Hands up who loves the LPL. One HP. Wow. Shun has a GA now. Makes it a lot easier for him to play at the next fights. There are the ornaments coming in, so don't just pay attention to the gold. There's also the Ornn value as well. And I'm eating a cream egg in the background because I deserve a little treat. Dragon in 3 minutes. Will be Soul for IG. I mean, Soul win condition is a thing. Who's my favorite to win from the LPL? Oh god, who knows? Anyone's legend maybe? Hard to tell. Shun, still 1,000 gold ahead in that matchup. Ooh, might go towards the dash forwards. Needs to be careful of the charm cancel on the audacious charge. Audacious charge is one. Yeah, it is that one. Ultra bomb, obviously. Yeah. They're going to climb out of Nirvana. That's going to be perfect. 3-item Gala. Has the Terminus. We have Shred now. I don't know if that's enough, though. Rageblade Terminus is good. He doesn't have the... Well, he has a little bit of sustain. Is he going towards... Wait, is he going towards a blade? Is he going towards a blade to just kill the Ornn? Rageblade with Blade of the Ruin King and Terminus? Jay on Zeri. Zeri have to kill him twice. Same with the Shinzao. I mean, can Gala do Gala things on Kai'Sa? He's level 16, not behind in XP. Scout is only 2.5 items. If Rookie gets Death Cap, maybe there's an angle. If you have Death Cap, Crypt Bloom, and then you have the Shredder, the Leandries, is that enough? This is it's a pretty good tank killing build from the Ahri. It is. It's not great at killing the squishies, but it's pretty good tank killing. Zeri doesn't have Infinity Edge. That's a very good point. There is no Infinity Edge. There's also even the Randuin's on the Shy. So he's denying a bit more damage. Not that the Shy is going to be that impactful now. He threw his early game potential. And that's on him. He misplayed probably the first 3 fights of the game. Invictus Gaming comeback? Maybe. Maybe. If we are at that point, we have to question now, right? Gala's hitting late game Kai'Sa. It is against the Zeri. It is a 905 Zeri on Pays, one of the greatest Zeri players out there. Minutesful Dragon. Rookie, does he have himself a death cap yet? If he gets death cap for this fight, that's huge. So huge, actually. I don't know if he can. I don't know if he's got the gold. It's a lot of gold at death cap. Baron has spawned. Now, do IG choose to let go of this and go towards the Soul instead? Scouts on one flank, Arla's on the other. Oh, it's holding the middle of this. Now, last time, JDG kind of threw around this. The Shy could go towards the flank. Not sure how much value he's going to have. Tanking the Baron, but of course Shinzao's a little better at that. Maker goes in, has that level 2 ultimate. JJ goes in too. Missing has just died. There's no engage there now. Arla does get himself the ultimate, but is it going to be enough? Watch Pays. You have to watch that. Zeri is caught by the combo. Does flash out of the headbutt, but Gala goes in anyway. Yeah, Zeri is still alive and still has the Guardian Angel. There is no death cap on Rookie, and Pays lives. There's still some damage coming through to the backline as Gala is still alive. Is that enough? It is a mess. 2 dead for JDG, 3 dead for IG, but the people alive are the people with the damage. Rookie can still recall. I actually think IG get out of this better, you know? I actually think they get out of this better. They can go towards this dragon. They don't have a smite, but neither does JDG. Teleporting in. What is going to happen now? Do you stay and finish this? What's the plan? What do you do? Does Ahri need to recall, get an item, and go back? Gala needs to be careful. If he gets hit up by a wall stun, that could be it. Respawn's coming in now. Dragon's going to come over and JDG deny the soul. It is a close fight. IG cannot rush the dragon. Missing dies very, very quickly, which also means he respawns quickly. Mako plays this fight out incredibly well. It's a very good CC chain hit. Gala does get hit by the Ornn ultimate. Then what happens here? If the Shy comes over the back, it is a fantastic combo. And then actually the Shy makes a mistake because he would have had the Zeri punted into him. He flashes anyway. And the Shy messes up this fight too, you know? He didn't have to flash onto the Zeri. He would have been delivered to him by the Alistair. A miscommunication. Gala does get a good turnaround, but I feel like the Shy, if he hadn't flashed, could have just W'd, flashed after the Zeri and got the damage anyway. At least forced him out to the GA. Pays is now 11-0-8. Rookie does have a death cap. Sold his Dark Seal to afford it, I think. He's strong now. Still don't think it's one-shotting the Zeri strong, but he's strong. Gala and Rookie need to pull out some miracles, man. They need to pull out some miracles. We're going late game, folks. It's 35 minutes. It's not bad damage from the Ahri into the Ornn, actually, considering how tanky that champion's meant to be. Shy jumps forwards, uses the Randuins to get a slow. And now he has no dash, and the Shy has jumped forwards for a Randuins. and potentially died. Pulls out his Dominus, has the Starix, has a bit more HP. Ult for ult now, I suppose, with missing. But the Shy very nearly throwing that part of the late game. Shun doesn't have flash. If he hits a W, things get a little bit interesting. Not going to happen there now. The W. Jumping forwards, Gala uses E. Talent comes through. Gala has the flash, but there's no ultimate on the other side from Arla. Now Rookie goes forwards and gets a charm onto Missing. Still, a lot of damage here. Teleport coming forwards again. Rookie, what has he got? He gets absolutely blasted by Pays, who still has the GA. Pays, oh Pays, he is so strong and still has the Guardian Angel. IG swing for the Zeri, and it is a miss. A certified Zeri moment as JDG take themselves a, what, 2-for-1 in this trade. Scout does go down. There is still a Kai'Sa ultimate. So JDG are not out of the woods just yet, but they still have everything on Pays. Gala will stick around, emoting at them, baiting them out of the brush. Gala feeling it. See how deadly it is. If you don't immediately kill that Zeri, if you don't immediately kill that Zeri, the Zeri cuts your head off. Oh boy. 2.5 minutes until the dragon spawns. IG still in it. Elixir of Sorcery picked up for Rookie. Gives you that extra AP, extra true damage on the hit per cooldown per target. Also, that extra AP will be buffed up by the death cap as well. Not going to do the most damage. The Ornn has the crit bloom instead of the void staff, wanting to get some more cooldown reduction. Bloodthirster in for Gala. Actually wonder whether it should have been a blade, you know. I don't know. The extra AD is nice, I suppose. Pays. No Infinity Edge in this build. Says, I have enough damage, I need to survive. The GA over it. Shield bow over it. I think it makes sense. Rookie, level 18, has that ult again. Trying to find that angle from the Fog of War in the way that only Rookie does. JJ. 3 items on the Jax. Not really been the Jax Xin Zhao counter that we like to see as much. Scout, 3 items down himself. Has a Zhonya. It's much harder for him to be taken down. He's level 17. No longer has that XP disadvantage of 2 levels because Rookie capped out, of course. Minute and a half until the Dragon. Baron being started now. Blue Trinket. Spots that going down. This is very quick kill at this point in the game because the Zeri will just shred through this. So much damage on the Zeri. Missing. Spots out the Shy. JJ has flash. Very hard to stop him from getting into the pit. There's no wards on him either. JJ. Oh my god, are we flipping for the late game? Maker goes in, but doesn't commit to the full combo. Are we flipping? We are! It's a Baron steal! Of course it's a Baron steal! But the fight comes after. Do IG have enough to survive? The Galio comes in. Gala escapes, but Pays is hunting him. His GA is still available. Gala lives a little longer, but I just don't think it's enough. It's too much damage, and though the Baron goes down, JDG will claim the lives. And I think that might still be it. They won't have the purple cape. They won't have the hand of Baron. They have the hand of Pays. And it's hitting the keyboard so goddamn hard with each Q button pressed. 5 alive heading towards the Nexus. I don't think IG can hold. 2 Baron steals is not enough to save Invictus Gaming from the might of Pays' Zeri. There's a dash away. There's some decent damage. Rookie doesn't have his ultimate, though. The towers are falling. And who needs a Baron when you have a Zeri that plays like this? Shingdong Gaming will take the Nexus. They bloody well try to take the Nexus. No! They die on the Nexus! JDG, they fought so hard, but they get aced! Maybe they did need the Baron teleported to the mid lane! IG, 2 Baron steals! Protection of the base! Absolute cinema! Rookie intercepts the wave, and we might have a Nexus to Nexus! Never in my life have I seen an ending like this! A Baron steal into Nexus push into Ace with less than 100 HP on the Nexus to running it back. Are you not entertained? Invictus Gaming will win the series 2-1. Never in my life have I seen something like this. Only in the LPL do you get this. Invictus Gaming take the series. Where were you when you watched the Baron steal into Nexus to Nexus?